Today's sponsor is Loot Crate. For less than $20 a month, Loot Crate gives the geek in you a special treat every month. Loot Crate is a subscription box service with more than $40 worth of geek, gamer, and pop culture gear, collectibles, apparel, comics, etc. delivered to your mailbox every month. This month, they're bringing you a fight for the ages. Suit up, choose your allies, and enter the arena for combat. They're ready to stand their ground this month with exclusive items from Blizzard, Fallout 4, Capcom, sponsor-worthy loot from the Hunger Games, as well as a few more items that will help their winners emerge victorious. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate, and when the cutoff happens, you know it, Jack, it's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy Show. I am one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
You have some cold hands, Greg.
I'm wearing your shirt. Winter has come.
I'd like to warm you up.
Fall has come.
It has. It's nice outside, right? What are you doing?
What
are you doing?
I warm up my hands by putting them in my armpits. I thought I just put them in yours.
No, you put them underneath my butt. That's how you have to warm up. There you go. Get in there.
Winter has come, fall has come, and someone apparently came on Kevin's shirt before.
Your armpits are weird.
Let's please bring attention to Kevin's shirt.
So that's the Pure One Tim Gettys.
Hi.
This is, of course, the Pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty. The other week, Kevin, just a proud little papa, puts up on Instagram and Twitter that he went to the comic book store and he bought these two shirts. He got a new Superman shirt, a new Batman shirt. He wore them last week. I complimented him on them. Did I compliment you on them, Kevin? I complimented on him, and I was like, hey, nice shirts. I'm glad you got some new shirts, some new graffiti design shirts. That's how you know they're from a real comic store. Today, he came late because he had a thing, and he had to change when he came back from it.
He had a thing.
He had a good excuse. Somebody's dead. Came back from his funeral, changed out of his suit, which you look dashing in, of course. And then he puts on the Batman shirt, starts going to work, and then we cross paths in the kitchen, and I did one of these pass-throughs, and all over his back looks like cum. And if you're a guy, you know what this looks like. You've had a t-shirt or 2,000 that have fallen to this before. And he claims it's not. And I'm not smelling the shirt.
Does it smell like cum?
Oh, my God.
Cum's got a smell.
Oh, it definitely does.
It definitely
It
does.
has a lot of things.
It does. It has a lot of things.
Apparently, you know what? I'm not even going to go down that road. Never mind. Let's continue with the show.
I feel like it's more likely that it was donut on his back
Glaze?
than cum. Yeah.
Well,
It was that. It looked like, at first I thought it was bleach. I thought he had ruined it already.
It's Kevin. You know how Kevin sometimes here's the thing about Kevin. We make fun of him a lot for falling down and breaking shit. He actually doesn't ever break anything and or fall down. He does fall into things though. And he brushes up against things in a very aggressive, some might say violent way.
Oh, he brushed up against a glazed donut.
I feel like he brushed up against a donut shop. He's just like half it with
the
him.
whole shop.
The whole
Did you eat
shop.
donuts at all today or yesterday? Did you have any birthday cake?
No.
Cupcakes. Was there a cupcake at the funeral?
What's the red and or brown stuff on your leg? What is wrong with you?
On the right side of your thigh, it looks like you
Where your hand
Rotate.
is.
Yeah, right
It looks
there.
like you got in a fight with a jar of peanut butter.
We got
scratch
ants.
it off
We
on
got
the floor.
ants. Don't just.
Oh my
Okay,
God! So here's
okay.
the problem with Kevin, and this is a little graphic for the people at home.
We opened with he's covered in cum.
Well,
So I don't know.
yeah,
I mean,
like on that point, the thing with
not too
Kevin
far
is
away.
everything he does is excessive and forceful.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how he ejaculates, being the very same way. Like, I imagine it being so intense that like, how did it get on his back is not the first question I would have. I'd be
It's
like,
ricocheting.
all right, fair enough. I can imagine that it ricochets. Like, oh, Kevin.
Pow! Ball is off the bed.
Kevin, you ever had any cum ricochet before?
Oh yeah, I mean ricochet once in a while.
Yeah. Off of what?
What's around? Wow.
He's beginning
It's
a
gonna
good
be
show.
a good show.
If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny and toss us a few bucks so you can get each and every episode early, along with a whole bunch of exclusives. Don't have any bucks to toss our way? It's no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we post the entire show, topic by topic, day by day, until we post it as one big MP3 and video. Go to itunes.com/kindafunny. Please rate the show there.
You guys have been doing a great job.
It makes Tim very
yeah.
happy.
People have been going, leaving reviews, tweeting at me.
Yeah.
I like that shit.
Good. Ooh,
Y'all some
you
good
like that shit?
motherfuckers.
And reward yourself with a slow jerk when you're done.
Yeah.
But please,
Or during.
be aware, like have some kind of thing set up so the ricochets aren't this
Yeah,
bad.
Be careful.
Because there's ping, ting, 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 ting,
Yeah.
ting.
If it's really that big of a deal, Kevin will ship you one of his oversized shirts, and you can just catch them.
Why are they so big? They're so big, and every tweet, like, I didn't want to give them shit,
barrel-chested.
but I'm going to. Like, of course, that tweet about the shirts had grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes. And Kevin, you need to get your life.
I still like
together, man.
Kevin's on Twitter. His description is like, Tim tells me it's important to let you know that this is the real Kevin. Which is so good. That's a good one. I'm trying to tell you like what I'm doing and who I am, and Kevin's just like, I'm the
real Kevin.
someone named Tim
Yeah.
told me to tell you that I'm Kevin.
Your two Twitter profiles could not be polar opposites. Could not be more opposite. You've got like this really good like who you are with this amazing like iconography, and Kevin is a picture of him laying on a bed, looking like he's about to write a love letter to his 6th grade teacher.
Sums it up well.
There it is.
That's very well done.
What's with the fucking plushie doll?
I was at Hunter's house.
Your
Is that Hunter Pence's bed?
Yeah.
Jesus, Kevin.
That's Kevin.
the picture you tweeted out though, Nick, this week I retweeted this weekend of Kevin's bed in the middle of the 2 beds. This is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen before.
I didn't see it. What was it?
It's like a prison.
Between their 2 beds,
Yeah.
I had to put down an inflatable bed because Nick can't sleep with anyone else in the room.
Yeah, I did like that. We sent
show it to
4
you
of
right
you to
now.
LA to do work, and there was 2 hotel rooms, and Nick took one all by himself.
Nick's used to sleeping with me.
I did. Exactly.
Let me see. Kevin, you got to insert this photo now. Start taking notes. Oh, I know. It's so
Oh, you're hard. We'd pay you money. You have to work. I know. It's so bad.
I didn't come into
I
work
draw-
till 1:30 today.
I draw-
my life is so hard.
I draw a salary well above the median salary in the United States to edit videos. Kevin, take your notes.
I make so much money. I can buy new shirts and come in them a day later. Not even using the old rag shirts like a
Yeah.
normal person.
Oh, God.
I like how you were doing the, oh, my life.
Oh, my life is so hard. I worked for 2 hours today.
Oh, I worked for 2 hours.
What is that?
This is Cheryl's mom.
So for those at home that didn't get the reference,
She's come up before.
No, I
That's
know.
happened once or twice. We're gonna start with my topic.
Okay.
And this is a good way to segue in with all the common the inside jokes because this is a reference. I had some other topic planned. I shelved it because you got all of my face outside out
I
there.
didn't get up in your grill.
If
Came on your face.
if everything's gone according to plan, we've put up a Twitter pic with me eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch in bed, taking it with a selfie spoon, and Colin's there not too pleased that I'm in his bed getting sugar all over, which I did, and I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure you're really
And you
sorry.
hate selfie sticks, of course, too.
Yeah.
Now,
Don't be surprised if that thing
what this
disappears.
comes down to is we were getting ready to shoot this photo. I was talking about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch there, and how Kevin's like, "Can I have it?" Pretty much. What's gonna happen to it afterwards? I'm like, "You can take it. I don't eat cereal. I don't really appreciate cereal that much." And I'm like, "Just for this, I'm gonna put it in a bowl, but I won't put milk in it because I eat my cereal dry." And then you wanted to pick a fight about it. You wanted to get all up my face, and then 10 minutes later, you ate it dry.
That's a fight worth having.
Now, but eating the cereal dry is a snack. You put milk in it, it's a meal.
No,
And that's how it goes.
that's how it
accurate.
goes.
Do you
Now-
think that the Ewok meme? Do you think the Ewok meme really was talking about bowls of cereal?
Bite the
without milk in
pillow,
them?
I'm going in dry. if I bite the pillow, how do I eat the cereal? No, but like
The Ewok's
Anally.
eating the cereal.
see, that was the thing for the longest time is that I couldn't eat the cereal. I didn't enjoy cereal in the milk because you know how I am about liquids and solids. Can't do it. Won't do it.
Yeah.
You know how I am about liquids and solids.
I
The
don't.
Greg Miller
I-
shit.
Anything
I
that
do.
looks like diarrhea or vomit, I can't do. Somebody's like, "How about some jambalaya, some gumbo?" I'm like, "You can get the fuck out of here," because that
like-
came out of
you're a
one of your
weirdo.
orifices into a bowl, and now you want
So
me
you
to
can't
eat
do
it.
chili.
No,
my
I
God,
won't
you
do
poor
chili.
son of a
doesn't like the
bitch.
beans.
What about
I hate
what about a
beans as well.
minestrone soup?
No, I can
Would.
do once in a while a chicken noodle, and I can do a clam chowder.
That's
to
weird.
make-
Because clam chowder is
Clam chowder
like,
is like
it
the
looks like
number
vomit.
one most chunky. Is it liquid? Is it solid?
Clam chowder does look like vomit. It
no,
looks like vomit.
no. Pea soup looks like vomit, and then all the
pea
brown,
soup does look
everything
good.
that's brown looks like shit. So like you got this white stuff. It's I got this white stuff. As long as it's not on the back of Kevin's shirt, I'm fine eating it.
Kevin, did you rub up against the clam chowder restaurant? Okay, so we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Shout out to
we're
pea
gonna know
soup,
what
by
it
the
is.
way, with a little bit of jambon in it. That's ham.
That's
and
ham.
Fran-
French,
and
that's
French.
French. Yeah, it's French ham.
Oh.
I like pea soup.
The thing about the clam chowder though is I like it because it's like the lights are on. I can tell you what's in it. I can identify the shapes.
Take notes, Nick.
So
Take
this
notes.
is-
God,
thi-
this
so
is like
this
one of
is-
those speechless moments where I'm like, what goes through your head that makes that okay?
It's so good. It's so good. Kevin, take notes, please, for the documentary.
Cereal is so perfect in the way that when it's dry, it's just the flavor profile's there. What I used to do when I had a car and I drove to the newspaper every day, I'd wake up in those Shakespeare's cups I always drink out of, fill it to the brim with Fruity Pebbles, then get in the car, drive the
Pebbles?
5 minutes to work, and then just toss the cup on the bottom of the floor of my car and go into the newspaper. Then eventually bring out all these goddamn Shakespeare's cups that were caked in Fruity Pebbles. But it was delicious. And the other cool thing about it, this is one of those things that
the other cool thing, which
The
implies
other
there was
cool
cool
thing
thing,
about- yeah,
number
okay,
one.
all right,
So that was cool thing number one. Cool
Yeah.
thing
Hey,
number two.
you can't eat your cereal on the road. I could.
You
all
have a
right?
thing with doing
is
discarding cups full of things.
Now here's the one thing not many people tell you about this trick of eating the dry cereal.
Right.
The cool thing about it, the other cool thing is you get to pretend you're a horse.
Eating out of a trough?
I'm a grown man,
Out of a feed
and
bag.
every time I do it, I think I'm like a horse right now.
He did it earlier today. Oh, I'll explain.
What
I'll
about
explain.
this is horse-like?
I'll explain. I look over. We're having this conversation earlier where I was like, I'm still shocked that Greg is waging a one-man war against milk. And then I look over at him, and as he's talking to me, he takes this giant Shakespeare's cup
And now the best
just
thing-
puts his fucking face in it and starts eating it. Doesn't tip it. Just does what a horse does and just starts eating out of the feed bag as he's talking to me. And normal. Perfectly normal.
Now the thing
This
about
is
the
nothing
Shakespeare's cups,
abnormal
of course,
about
is
this.
that they're malleable too. So once you get past that top layer that you can eat like a horse, you can pinch it in, and then you got the perfect
Yo,
thing to go right
sucker bar,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Like you saw me trying to eat with a spoon in your bed, I dropped pieces in there, but with a cup, I wouldn't have dropped anything. I would have just been fucking in there. You know what I'm saying?
I eat chips that way, like with a bag of chips, because I don't like getting my fingers
Sure,
all,
sure.
especially the Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I like taking the bag and just kind of,
Yep. See, this is the thing. I'll tell you right now.
Or 2 bags.
yeah.
Right now,
if you-
97% of the viewing listening audience is not using cups to their full potential. Because I want some almonds, some raisins. Yeah. I put them motherfuckers in cups too. Now sometimes
But you don't like eating with your hands.
well, yeah, because I'm gaming, I'm touching. That's how I don't get sick at conventions. You got to just
Right.
go straight to it.
Right.
You get, like,
You always go straight to it, right?
yeah, just straight to it. But if you get the raisins, then you got the raisin residue on there. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. You dump them in there. Then you can even get a trail mix. I've done it where I mix up the almonds. This is another thing I did. There's another cool tip for cups.
Cool tip number
Cool
3.
tips for cups. I put some raisins in there. I put some almonds in there.
Yeah.
And then here's where it gets crazy, everybody.
Yeah.
Open up a few fun-sized mounds. Toss the mounds in there.
Mounds.
And I'm just playing video games, eating a coffee cup full of raisins, mounds, and almonds. It was great.
Do you shake up the cup so that the
Yeah,
mounds
you mix
mix
it up.
in?
Well, the thing about they call them fun size, and they are fun size. But when you put them in a coffee cup, they got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like the first thing you ate.
It's
It was
just
more
a
like
cup of mounds.
It was more like a layer cake at that point for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg loves
That's all
mounds,
right.
man. You should have seen in San Diego. They bought at Sony San Diego. They bought us a bag of mounds. Greg really, because I don't eat chocolate. And Greg during Colin and Greg Live ate literally 10 to 15 of them, maybe.
Mounds are the ones
I
sans almonds.
want to be like, you gotta. At some point, I want to be like, we know these people, but we don't know them like this. You
see, that's when it's the
you need
most
to
fun,
reel
though.
it in a
They
little
knew
bit.
they had got the memo that mounds make my mind go mad.
But I mean, but more than that,
I
I
was,
think
like,
that's how
delirious.
Greg Miller does things, though. Like Greg Miller, they don't know him now; they do. They'll never fucking forget that shit.
I mean,
I've seen you do it so many times. We're just with people that don't really know you, and then you just go crazy. You just like it.
you gotta let them know. You gotta get them in there.
It's good.
Unleash the tendrils so they're part of the family. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was with you.
Not really.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little more?
Like think of it like this. Think of it like this. 97% of the time, right? We're all walking around with our cloaks on.
Yeah.
You know, like we look like normal people.
Yeah,
But then you just get there
wear
and you
clothes.
throw open the cloak and it's all tendrils and you wrap them around people and then people know.
Something
People
Japanese
know.
porn to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the tendrils go, that's up to you. You know. No, or the tendril, I guess actually.
That.
But this is
It's
like
So you have
cereal.
one tendril?
The thing that kills me about you is that you could just use, say, a Ziploc bag, but you chose to use a cup
For what? Wait, what could I use the Ziploc bag for?
to store the cereal when you were driving the car. I guess you can't pour it in your
What are you talking
mouth
about? Yeah,
then.
you no,
mean,
you're totally
you
missing the
can.
point. I wasn't trying to store things in my car. I was trying to consume things in my car in the most.
Now, what if I got you one of those big boba straws that you
Horse-like
could just suck
way.
the Fruity Pebbles up with? Would that be something that would interest
That
you?
seems like I'd inhale one and that would go bad.
Okay.
Because remember, they're not. And this is the problem. The best part about it is that they stay nice and crisp, the way God intended them.
It's
the way
kinda-
the good people at General Mills intended them to be. So when you put milk in there, if you can eat really fast, you're fine. But you always get to the end and you just got these like limp fucking turds. Like
Yeah, but
it
you're
looks
also
like when
not
your
getting
it
the-
looks like when your cat would put its cat food into the water by accident and like the piece then like
Ugh,
inflates
that
up
is
and gets all disgusting.
And you're like, eat that. And the cat's like,
Yeah, but I mean,
fucking eat
Oh,
it.
like the
cereal,
water.
that's kind of the point. Like cereal, I love it because there's so many different ways to enjoy it. They're all enjoyable. I love the snack version of it, like the eating it without milk. I'm totally down for it. But
Yeah.
like Nick was saying earlier, that's not a meal. That's just a snack. That might as well just be like chips. You know, like you're just like, that's like Pringles. You're just eating the Pringles.
Yeah.
But for the meal, you need the milk. I think you need
You just
a lot
drink
of
some
milk.
water
You're
and then
missing
it's the same.
You're missing the power of the 3-act structure
it's
with
not.
cereal, though.
When I was young, I ran out of milk one
Yeah.
time, and
Beer?
I
Use
I
beer?
thought they were interchangeable.
They weren't.
And I poured water in, I poured the cereal in. I learned.
No,
Wait, you
'cause-
did that order? Before
It's all right.
I convinced myself otherwise, before I realized I hate this and don't have to do this, I'd take the berry kicks and pour the berry kicks and then the milk.
Oh, well, yeah,
what
sorry.
you do.
That's what you do.
Just- he just did
said
an
it backwards.
alternate
I didn't
order,
say it
all right?
backwards.
No one does
But yeah,
that.
no, the water. Yeah, if anyone does that, I'm sorry.
You do that when you're putting the second or third helping in.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing about the 3-act structure. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Exactly. Thank you.
I don't go down at the third act. I don't do the milk. Like
you don't do the third act? That's the best part.
I
That's
throw the milk
climax.
out. I throw the milk
It's
out.
kind of nasty, but it's amazing. It's a nasty idea, but it's fucking awesome.
I don't
Because
need
you
it.
look at it and you start seeing all the like weird ass like sugar residue stuff, and you're like, that really looks unhealthy. And like that's
It's
never
just sugar
stopped
milk.
me ever.
Let me draw a picture for you.
Yeah, paint it for me.
He's drunk.
The milk for the cereal to me is like ketchup on a burger. You don't really taste the ketchup. You just like that it's there and it provides a little bit of moisture on the burger and a
lubrication,
little
yeah.
lubrication.
Keep it moist.
Yeah,
It's
for
the
your
same thing with the
throat.
milk. Like I put milk in my cereal. I like, whatever, sometimes I go down, a little Lucky Charms, sometimes a little Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds. And although they're really being a little scarce with the almonds.
Well, you drought.
But that's a good point. That's a really good point. But then when so I have the milk there to make it wet because I like it when it's wet, right?
Everything's better wet.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I just throw the milk out. But if I'm gonna have another helping, then I'll put more cereal into it. But I never drink the milk. I don't think I've ever once
You definitely
in
missing out.
31 years ever drank the milk out of the bowl.
The milk
Interesting.
experience afterwards
Interesting.
is like such a special experience, and like it really kind of defines what the cereal is, the quality of the cereal. I think like you look at like Frosted Flakes, and I think Frosted Flakes definitely get a higher rating than I would normally give them because of what they do to the milk afterwards. I'm like, this is something
but then-
special.
but then
You
they
get
get all wet and they all get like it's just that malleable ball then of cornflake.
Yeah, but that's
Gotta eat it
why
quick.
you need to eat it quick. There is a structure to cereal.
God
you
forbid
take the cereal,
we take a page out of the Parisian handbook and enjoy our meals and conversation. I can't talk to you right now, honey. I'm about to get what looks like fucking wet paper in here. Like when you had to go on Outdoor Ed and they were like, hey, tear up some leaves and press them into paper. And you're like, this is fucking stupid.
But they're not bad though. Like even when it's soggy, it's just a different experience. Like I like it. I don't like it when they're too crunchy. I want to make sure before I eat
'Cause it hurts the roof of your mouth.
So you pour the cereal in, then
Makes
you
it
pour
tough.
the milk in, then you do the thing with the spoon to make sure you kind of like submerge
gotta
all
ma-
of
yeah,
it.
you gotta get
you got to
it
make
up.
sure
Yeah,
that
yeah,
all the
yeah.
Titanic sink.
Yeah.
Then you get ready, you eat it a bit. You're excited about it. Then you pull the cereal box, you start reading that shit because they always have the fun little games and stuff. And I don't care how old I get, I'm still going to do all the damn games. Make sure that I get all of that shit done, unless I'm eating some bullshit like, some grown up cereal.
Or like healthy shit, like Kashi.
Raisin Bran, right?
Or
Grape
the
Kashi go
honey
lean.
nuts, all that stuff. Like we're just looking at stuff, and I'm reading all these nutrition facts, but I'm still reading it. I will not. It's not eating cereal unless I read every single word on that box.
Nutritional facts on the back of a box of cereal is an interesting thing.
Yeah, you find out it's terrible for you.
Well,
the
they
best
always-
is
they
always
always-
like when they'd be like at the end of the commercial, like it's part of this complete breakfast. And you're like, wait a second, pause it. Like there's a cantaloupe, there's eggs,
Yeah.
there's bacon. That's a complete breakfast without the cereal.
Yeah, we don't need
I
the
don't even
cereal.
need the
That's-
I was
cereal.
always like, I'm like, who eats breakfast like this?
Yeah.
This is insane. This is
No.
a fucking insane breakfast. No wonder we're all
Parisians.
obese. You know?
It's a 7,000 calorie breakfast.
I don't know. There's at least 4,500 calories on that table right now for that one person. Toast, buttered toast,
Yeah.
a glass of orange juice, and a glass of milk.
Yeah, I love
I'm like,
that.
can you stop? No one eats like this. No one.
But they have to tell you that because otherwise the cereal has zero
Yeah,
nutritional
they just
value
drop
for you.
they just drop the ball and it like hits the table like, here's this piece of shit. And then the commercial just ends.
Eating wet cereal is like throwing up in reverse.
Ew, no, Greg, it's not.
Just letting you know.
But
Just letting you know.
I will agree with you on the cornflake, right? Because inevitably when you're going to go in for the milk, you got to skim the pool. Right, you got to make sure all the shitty leafy flake, because I don't like the cornflake because it gets too soft too quick.
See, I love the cornflake taste when it's just the cornflake.
That's fine. And I'm not criticizing you for eating it dry. I love dry cereal.
Okay.
I'll take down a whole box of dry cereal.
We were going to town
On
that
Sunday.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch out
I
there.
was. It was fantastic. And this is the disgusting thing that I shared only with Colin, but I will now share it with you guys. There was a bunch of Cinnamon Toast Crunch residue left in this cup,
Nice.
and I poured coffee into
That's
it.
great. No,
So now
that's
I have
cool.
Cinnamon Toast coffee.
All right.
And
Quick
it's not
story.
bad.
We had to go buy this box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And as we're walking, Nick's super fucking excited and casually, in the most Nick casual way, just goes, hey, you want me to go get some of that CT Crunch? And I'm just like, I fucking love that you just called it CT Crunch that casually.
I love CT Crunch. First of all, I stole it from the Seth Rogen film, This Is the End, when they're taking inventory of all their stuff. And he's like, one candle, 3 bottles of water, 1 box CT Crunch. I was like, I'm fucking calling it that forever. They're innovators.
They are.
Innovators.
They are.
That Seth Rogen
I know.
was great.
What do you think
Steve
of-
Wozniak.
What do you think? Was he? Did you watch Jobs?
Yeah, we went and saw Jobs in LA.
Okay.
We wanted to just sit for a second, so we saw a movie.
Okay.
It was good.
Did you didn't sleep through it like last time we were in LA?
No, we did
no,
not.
we actually
That's smart.
used
We were
it
pretty
for-
engaged. It's
yeah.
a pretty good movie.
Okay, good. Are you excited for Seth Rogen's new movie where he pukes in church?
I mean, he's got so much range.
It's funny. I like him.
He is funny. He's a really talented guy. What were you gonna ask before that? You asked me something.
I don't know.
You were in the middle of a thought process. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
anymore.
This has just been
I love-
free flowing, bebopping, and jazzing it up out here.
It's not. The more and more I get to know you guys, the more and more I realize that we do have a lot of similarities. But I would say out of all of our idiosyncrasies, you have the most fascinating.
I have the
by
most
far.
entertaining one.
You do, and I'm not saying they're bad.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you were like, when I mentioned the word milk, you had such a guttural reaction to it that you almost threw something at my head. It was fun.
It's just like milk is like so. You want to talk about something I never fucking think about? It's milk. You know what I mean? You could all come in tomorrow and be like, milk hasn't been around in 5 years. And I'd be like, phew. I didn't know that,
love
but
it.
I believe it.
I'm a
I
big
could
fan.
believe it. I could totally see that. But then it's like you run into these psychos like yourselves who like milk, or Justin Davis from IGN who drinks milk with every dinner. And I was like, what the fuck
That's
is
weird.
wrong with you?
That's
I knew people like that.
We
really
asked
weird.
on GameScoop if it was weird back in the day, and
Yeah.
there was a whole bunch of people like, no,
I
I do
drink
it
it,
too. I'm
though.
like, you guys are psychos.
I drink it and people think
nice,
that that's weird.
having a nice steak here, better wash it down with this milk.
My
What the fuck's wrong with
my
you
buddy,
people?
my best friend growing
Mike
up.
Pope.
No, before Mike Pope, when I was even younger, when I lived in the old Colonial or whatever, I used to eat at their house all the time, and they would have milk with their food. And you weren't allowed to get out of the table unless all your food was done and you drank all your milk. And I was like,
There's
this
something
is weird.
about it
choking it
though.
down.
Milk coats your mouth in a certain way that I like.
Sure, no,
it's like it's a nice little like palate cleanse.
Whenever we do the hot pepper gaming, I'm happy milk exists
Yeah.
still. I'm happy the milk
No,
dried.
like,
I was just
so
talking about.
anytime
I'm
I
happy.
say that word, people in the comments give me shit.
milk,
milk.
I say milk.
Yeah.
Milk.
you are saying it weird.
Milk.
Milk.
like me with roof.
milk.
So it's
I'm
pronounced.
saying roof, but
it's
everything's
pronounced or it's written MILK.
Yeah.
I guess I say it MELK.
Yeah.
Milk.
Milk.
You say like Mel, like Mel's Diner.
Yeah.
milk,
I say milk like MILF.
Okay. You say it?
milk. Milk. I'm gonna drink some milk.
Okay.
I'm on the roof.
Milk. Milk.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm weird as shit.
No, it's
No,
just
it's
small.
fine.
It's a
It's a
small
geographic-
difference.
Because it sounded
Difference.
like you were saying it
Milk.
until I asked you
Milk.
to say it.
Okay. Malik.
I just can't like trying to say milk
Milk.
is weird to me. Drinking milk.
Milk.
Do you like malted milk balls known as Whoppers?
Oh, I do fucking like
Oh,
Whoppers.
Fuck yeah, you do.
they get
Colin was
they
over
get-
here
they
talking
get
shit on
overdone
Whoppers
sometimes.
too.
I like Whoppers, the cheeseburger Whopper.
Yeah, but what
I
about
don't.
them sweet ass candies? They come in a little. They come in a milk carton.
They overstay their welcome real quick.
Whoppers or
The
milk?
Whoppers?
Yeah.
Malted
Oh,
milk balls.
what? I
Yes.
do. No. Here's the genius marketing for the Whoppers. They used to sell them in a little milk carton looking thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Where you would undo the thing and then it was like, what?
The thing I just mentioned.
Did you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The reason these were brought up.
Oh man, those are
stroke?
fucking. Those are amazing. Those are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, you didn't have Whoppers. You had fucking Sour Patch Kids. Motherfuck, those were good.
No, yeah. Whoppers are an experience because you get them and you eat them for a while, and then you start playing games with them, where you put them in, then
Yeah.
you suck all the chocolate off, or you put them in and you just try to pierce it with one tooth,
Uh-huh.
and then you let your saliva get in there and dissolve it from the inside, man. You get a carton of Whoppers, you got a good afternoon. You know what I'm saying?
You're in rare form today, huh?
Like, oh fuck, man.
You're really just a step above in a lot of different ways, Greg.
Thank
and
you, Colin.
I
It
can't
means
wait
a
to
lot.
write your story. I really
Today
can't.
seems drug induced. Maybe it was the CT
It's probably
Crunch.
the CT Crunch I had. I just had to get me two Shakespeare's cups full of CT Crunch. I'm all set to go.
They were a mighty cup.
Greg's been in rare form for a
mighty
while,
cup.
really. I mean, he was in rare form in San Diego making fun of me because I was about to fall asleep during Colin and Greg Live. I had no idea what I was even doing.
Yeah,
I was up so late.
You guys were working in LA. We went to San Diego. And so when we got to San Diego, the first thing we did was go to Polite Provisions and sit there I was there, 5 hours drinking cocktails, and Colin stayed an additional 4. And so he rolled into Sony San Diego on 2 hours of sleep, hungover as shit, eyes bloodshot all to hell. And in the middle of the show, like he's trying to talk to me, and I just busted up laughing. I had to take a photo of his eye and tweet it out so people understood why I couldn't keep it together. And then I started. Then also, this is something we got to think about. I know you're happy here in the spare bedroom.
Sure.
It holds back my performance because we were there. I had a wireless lav on, and I was on a rolly chair, and I had all this room. I jumped out of the chair. I ran around. I called myself a tarantula. I was bebopping and scatting all over the fucking walls. You know what I'm saying?
Scatting all over the wall.
I knew what you were saying.
Speaking of cum shots,
I knew what you were saying right up to the point where you started comparing yourself to a tarantula and then used the term bebop and scat. It was a scatting?
Yeah, scat.
Like a scat
that's a
man?
sign. You're referencing Seinfeld with that.
Yeah,
quote,
yeah.
Of course.
Oh, no, I agree. We do need more
You get me
space.
some
Be
freedom.
nice.
You get me some room out here, man.
I would love
I'd probably
I
lose
would love
weight.
a cam up. That would be nice instead of the door. I would love for it
Door
to
does what
actually,
it can. It does the best it can.
It would be nice to have someone actually shooting the show because then they could like punch in and have fun when we do shticks.
Sure.
You know, not that we really do that much. We normally just sit here and talk, but
Yeah, that'll be the day that
Every
we
once
have
in a while.
multiple cameras.
That'd be
and There's
great.
the wide, and then there's the one guy. Just
oh
like,
yeah, there's the one
following
dude
us.
who's just like kicking
Yeah.
it back and forth. That's a hard job. You're gonna start to fall asleep real quick on that one.
Yeah, it happens.
So that's why I eat cereal dry.
All right.
Tim,
Yes.
what's your topic?
So my topic is Los Angeles, specifically our trip to Los Angeles that
Oh!
we took.
All right,
last
so we
week.
just talked about San Diego in the last
Yeah.
topic real quick. We went down there to visit Sony San Diego, do Colin Greg Live, do a Kill Strain thing.
Mm-hmm.
While we were doing that,
Yes.
you, Kevin, and Sean Finnegan went to LA.
and Nick.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, got it.
I gave a very baby gesture.
Got it.
Similar to when Christopher Reeve regained control of his one finger. But anyways, I gave a baby gesture. That's a real thing. I'm a big Chris Reeve fan. Everybody knows that. Anyways, it's a real thing. That was like when we thought we were going to get it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? As a supporter of the Reeve Foundation, we thought we almost had it. When he'd be talking and then he moved his finger, and then his wife Dana thought like, "Wait, could you really do that thing?" And he did it again, and it was like, "Holy shit, how is this happening?" And his body's making new neural pathways and all this stuff. Then he unfortunately died. And then of course nobody except me supports the foundation anymore. Go support this foundation. Anyways, we were in San Diego. You guys went to LA, including Nick.
Yes.
And you
So-
shot a whole bunch of love and sex stuff.
Yeah, we did a special guest season of Love and Sex Stuff with a whole bunch of really cool people. And man, traveling is an adventure. Road trips are an adventure.
I don't know how. Yeah, I hadn't done a road trip in forever, and we've done them to LA now like 3 times.
Yeah, going to LA is a specific brand of adventure. From San Francisco to LA, anyone that's done that
Clarification.
knows.
Going to LA is generally boring when you drive from the 5, when you drive all the way down the 5. It's made way more exciting when you have you, Kevin Coelho, and Sean Finnegan in the car.
Yeah.
And we started having we left late, of course. We should
What a
have
surprise.
Should have left at 5. We didn't end up getting on the road until probably like 6:37. It was pretty late. So we're driving down the 5, and we look over, and I'm like, "Holy shit, the moon's huge." And Kevin goes, "You know, the moon doesn't actually change size, right? It's just when it's up in the sky, there's nothing around it. So relative size speaking, when it's by buildings, it appears much bigger than when it's up in the sky." And I was like, that is fascinating. Hey, I wonder what would happen if the moon disappeared. And Kevin says, nothing.
Which is
Nothing
wrong.
would happen.
He said nothing would happen about the ocean.
He said we'd be fine.
Very little. Like John said, catastrophic
Yeah, we don't need to get
Don't
into
need to go
this.
into it, but
I want to hear.
here's the point of the story.
It would be bad.
Was this. We argued to the point for 2 hours. Tim put his headphones on.
I didn't.
And
I
he
was
like
just
crawled
staying
over. He
out
was
of it.
staying out of it. Kevin is screaming and arguing every small semantic point possible, just because at like past an hour he stopped arguing. He just wanted to piss Sean off. Sean basically was about to go to blows. I had to give them both a timeout. I was like, we need to stop talking right now for 30 minutes. Just enjoy the road. And then we all came back and remembered we were friends, but they were going to go to blows.
I mean, the thing that
I
people
would've
need
punched-
to
I'd
know
knock
about
his
this
block off too.
is the fact that Kevin and Sean have a rivalry that goes back ages. The very,
race.
very, very condensed version of this story is one time we were at Wingstop. We had just finished eating chicken wings, and they started fighting over who's faster.
No,
So
wait,
decided-
Wait. I wasn't saying I was faster.
Okay,
I was
Sean
just saying
Finnegan
that-
claims that he is the fastest person at IGN, hands down. No denying it.
We should
he
be-
is the fastest person.
we should be fair. He claimed. I don't know if he still thinks he is the fastest person.
No,
But as of about a year ago, he thought he was.
I mean, he I don't know why he wouldn't, because
Miranda
te-
Sanchez.
Should we text
claims
him right now?
that he is the fastest person at IGN.
I know she was a fast
And Kevin is like, I will beat you. I will beat you in a race. Like, for sure. There's no doubt. And Sean gets so upset
Yeah.
because he's looking at Kevin. And it starts getting like real heated. Then all of a sudden he's just like, let's do it right now. Right now. And I'm like, after you guys have just eaten fucking an obscene amount of chicken wings? Yes. Cool. We go in the back alley. I'm like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. They both start racing. There is video footage of this. I'll try to get you that. They both start running. Within 5 steps, Kevin trips and falls like we always talk about him doing to catastrophic fucking events. He tumbles, pops back up like a goddamn
Like a Kung Fu
like a
Panda.
gazelle.
yeah,
Like a Kung Fu Panda.
ridiculous. Sean comes towards me 5 steps away from the finish line, starts going, ow, 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 because he twisted his fucking ankle. So now we have these two motherfuckers that just decided to race for no goddamn reason. Sean is pissed. He's like, I can't believe I let this little fat boy go me into racing him. Now I'm injured. And we're like, oh my God. So then everyone at IGN makes fun of them for a whole month. We decide we're going to have a rematch and make a huge thing out of it. So Sean's like, all right, I need 1 month to recuperate and I need 1 month to train. And we're all like,
Yeah, he like pulled something
to
bad.
beat Kevin in a race? You need this. He's like, yes. Then we wait. There's fucking flyers made. It's a whole big deal. We go.
Also, weren't the round of flyers the first ones had the wrong date?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Coelho versus
An eye for
Finnegan.
detail.
Then we go. We do the race, and it's not even close.
No.
Sean just
He trained super hard.
He
was
did not.
much faster.
I don't think he trained super
He was
hard.
much faster.
I think
Sean
he's
destroyed.
stretched out
he
beforehand.
also lost a bunch of weight too.
Sean destroyed Kevin. Now let's stop and think about this for a second. Kevin still won because he made Finnegan race him.
The problem with arguing with Kevin or doing anything with Kevin is the second you decide to be oppositional, you've lost. You've lost because Kevin doesn't care about winning the argument. He just wants the argument to go on so long that, like, as long as humanly possible, so that he can continue to fucking make fun of you and goad you into more arguments.
Yeah.
And you get angry. You get
So-
super angry.
That's what happened here, and that's why the entire car ride was just insane because Kevin and Sean are just fighting.
Right.
And it reached a point that they're not even arguing about what they're arguing about. It's just arguing about how deep under Sean's skin can Kevin get.
Yeah.
So I did not have my headphones on. What I was doing was sitting in the back seat.
Oh, you were live tweeting. That's
tweeting
right.
all the quotes that happened. Let's just go through some of these. Sean Finnegan at some point said, "What you got to realize is you need to stop trying to be cool and just be cool." So, thank you, Sean Finnegan.
How'd that relate to the moon?
This is pre-moon. This is all
okay.
pre-moon.
We're just
Okay.
going through. We're just going through.
We started talking about space at some point because there's one quote that's great that Sean
Yes.
said.
So then at some point we were talking, I remembered a story of when one of my best friends was talking about the sexiest thing in life, lingerie. And we're like, no, it's lingerie.
Wait, what? Sean said that?
No, but we were talking and a story came up where my friend James Burke,
Lingerie?
he was like, we were sitting at In-N-Out, we were 17, and we're talking about sexy things because that's what 17-year-old boys do. He's like, there's nothing sexier than a girl in lingerie.
That's fucking embarrassing.
We
That's one of
gave
those
him
quotes you never lived
so
down.
much. Oh, he never will live it down.
Lingerie?
All right. And then we got Nick saying, "Hey, we got to stop at Adele's Taco." Sean saying, "Why'd you add an S?" Nick responds, "Sorry, my mouth was full of McNugget." Because we're just leaving the McDonald's before he decided he needed Del Taco.
I just wanted to set the trip correct and say that we were at least going to go to Del Taco one time on the trip. And I might add, we went twice.
I love Del Taco.
Twice.
Shout
and
out
I
to Del
followed
Taco.
up with Taco Bell, and then I couldn't sleep that night.
Then there's silence for a while. we get a gold one from Finnegan. Yo, can someone sweet and sour sauce me? All right,
Again, we were eating chicken McNuggets.
Now I got context to what the hell's happening.
Right.
Here, we start getting into the moon conversation.
Right.
Don't tell me you wouldn't want to be a fucking space captain. Sean Finnegan. Later, Finnegan to Nick, the moon isn't actually growing, dumb shit, in terms of how far away the moon
No, he
was.
didn't say that to me. I think he said it to Kevin.
No, he said it.
It was to you.
Was he to me?
Mm-hmm.
Now go punch him.
Why did he say that
The
to me?
moon's actually getting further away.
You made a joke, and he took it seriously.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, I didn't say that.
Some
I
real
guess
talk
bigger
there.
or
So
So
smaller.
then I tweet out, Kevin and
It's getting further
Finnegan.
away.
Kevin and Finnegan are fighting over what would happen if the moon was destroyed. Nick Scarpino is on spaceanswers.com.
Great site. Great site.
Is it
You have
good?
any questions about space?
Yeah.
Spaceanswers.com is your place.
Gotcha. Is that run by Neil deGrasse Tyson?
No, wait a
no,
minute.
it's not.
Now, you think that nothing would happen if the moon disappeared?
If, like, just disappeared.
Right.
I feel like the effects
What about the
would be
tidal
better.
effect and all that?
Yeah,
kind of
what are you
stuff?
talking about?
It only controls like 60% of the tide. We still.
We almost
sun-
text you, by the way. We almost text you. I was
Yeah.
like, can I phone a friend? Can I call it in
sun
on this?
Also causes tidal effect.
Sure. Anything
But I
in
mean,
big
I
and
don't-
mass
I
would
don't
cause a
think that
tidal
it would,
effect.
like change the world.
I think it would.
Kevin's argument is that it wouldn't destroy everything.
No, but it would
No,
upend and
that's
disrupt
what
everything.
That's what Finnegan was saying. It would destroy everything.
No, it wouldn't
So we had-
destroy
we had
everything.
extremes. We had
all
two
these
extremes.
Things that will happen that we don't even know, and I was like, no, I don't think so.
We said there would be a cataclysmic change.
No, I don't think it would be a
There would be
cataclysmic change.
cataclysmic.
But if the moon never, if there was never a moon, we wouldn't even be here because it stopped so many asteroid collisions.
Right.
Right.
But I
So
digress.
I think the conclusion we came to is yes, there would be some dramatic effects. As to how long those effects would take.
But how
that's
did
a
we get
question.
to that? Because eventually, now Nick is on Yahoo Answers.
I had to go down. I had to get the real answers, Greg.
Space Answers is good. Yahoo Answers is better.
Yahoo Answers
because
is
it's
the best.
crowdsourced.
It really is. And you get some genius answers on Yahoo Answers.
Babby
Are you
formed?
kidding me? We have to have the moon. That's pretty much, that was the top answer.
Then eventually, I don't know how we got to talking about Let's Plays, but it happened. And then Nick goes, I'm not going to lie. I know how to do Let's Plays. I've seen a couple Let's Plays. I've only ever watched Let's Plays I'm in. Nick Scarpino.
True story.
And then,
Now,
then
to be
I
fair,
go to the bathroom.
Tim misquotes
In the
everyone.
car?
I want everyone to know that.
Do I
He
misquote?
absolutely does. I will say something and he will be like, huh, I'm going to type that. And the time it comes out of my mouth, you will type it in and it will lose the Nick panache. 100%.
Oh, that's a
100%.
lie.
You nailed the McNugget one.
I get your shit down instantly, Nick.
No, there's some stuff that you just don't get right. You just don't get right.
That's-
It's not a problem. It's look,
Oh.
if I'm typing it, I would retype it too. But sometimes you editorialize to make me sound either
Nope.
smarter or
Never.
stupider.
Not once. I have never done that.
You miss.
I
sometimes.
quote you word for word because the moment you say the shit,
For instance, I said
stop thinking
my mouth
and
was
I just
full
think
of
it
hot
over and
McNugget.
over.
I said my mouth was full of hot
No, you
McNugget.
didn't.
Yes, I did.
You didn't.
I fucking did.
All right.
You're not
turning into a
recording
married
it.
couple.
You're typing it down.
Then
There's a margin of error.
we go to a gas station and I'm peeing and for some reason I decided to snap.
This is a weird trip.
So
This has, by the way, nothing to do with LA. This is literally like fucking
the topic's
halfway
the trip to LA.
halfway down to LA.
which is the whole thing.
No,
so
I just-
I snapped super fucking hard and somehow sliced my finger open
Jesus.
super deep.
With your
And-
fingernail?
Yeah, which I had
You can
just
tell
cut
his
it.
girlfriend moved away.
I just cut it that day, and it cuts, and there's blood just gushing out,
Jesus.
like real blood. And I was like, oh god. And I go out, and then the lady like had to give me band-aids and shit. It was a whole thing.
A rigmarole.
Yeah. Then we started talking about like old school porn stars that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Which made us wonder. I wonder what Heather Brooks up to.
Mm-hmm. A classic.
I think I remember her. She was the. Well, I guess we won't want to go too into it.
You can. It's the show.
Was she the one?
likes deep things.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was the one
she had a
Deep
site.
Throat girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember her.
Yeah.
Everyone does. Everyone
I think
does.
anyone who's perused pornography in the last 10 years has come
Longer
across
than that.
her.
I feel like I remember her like in high school.
Yeah, but they're
almost.
still available.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Are
Just
they still
just in
good?
case you,
Oh, the
they're
internet,
still
they didn't
good.
expire,
Classic.
those internet
Is
pages?
Citizen Kane still good? Yeah. Classic.
She's the city.
Do I still watch Die Hard once a year? Yes, I do.
Her Deep Throat videos of the Citizen Kane.
I don't
They-
think anyone's
they-
come
they
close.
might
To,
be.
I don't think anyone's come close to mastering that like she has.
Yeah.
They
I
might
mean,
be
that's
some
a
of the
fact.
best. If we ever get around to actually ranking porn, which I doubt we ever will, but that I would not be surprised if she was on top 10 lists or top 8.5 inches lists. That guy's
All right,
that
wonder
guy
where
was at
she-
least 9
But
inches.
wait, I wonder where she is. That's a great question.
I
Like,
know,
where is
right?
she now?
What's she up to?
That's why we were fascinated. I was like,
Do you think
I
she'll
would-
ever come back?
No, I don't think so.
No,
But like there was
she had a great 2 years from like 2004 to 2006.
Was it that late? I always felt like it was even earlier than that, but maybe it wasn't.
But that's what I'm fascinated by. There's a great documentary. Did you saw the documentary on Netflix
Mm-hmm.
about porn stars and how it was very illuminating. They only have like very short spans because for a number of reasons, psychological, and also they're not new anymore, so they have to continue to kind of do crazier and crazier things. But she had a little cottage industry. She had her own business.
Yeah, that's
and
different.
so I would like to see what happened. Like, did she just get tired of it? Did she make so much money that she doesn't need to work anymore?
I love that you said she had a cottage industry. That's awesome.
Well, because she was running her own website.
No,
in a,
I know,
in a
it's
time
true,
when
it's
like
just
the
like-
Vivid Videos and all those places were like, and remember Bang Bros, which was like
I think
seemingly
they still
took over
exist,
the
right?
world. I think they do too, yeah. But I get confused with the Bang
I'll
Bros
feign
and the
ignorance and
Brazzers.
pretend I don't know if they exist or not anymore.
That bus
I
is
know
still
they
roaming the
exist.
countryside, picking up poor innocent women.
God, they don't
At
even,
some
they don't even
point,
try anymore.
Kevin
Hey, you need a
decides-
ride? Yes, I need a ride. That's it. That's all I got.
Kevin decides that he needs a Wendy's Frosty. So yeah, it was too late. Wendy's were closed, and Wendy's ended up tweeting at Kevin saying, "Sorry, we're closed."
That's awesome.
No, I think they said sorry, we're asleep. We were asleep or something like that, right? Yeah, it was cute.
Then we get into LA, and Nick goes, "Man, there are a lot of martial arts stores here. It must be a really well protected area."
For some reason, North Hollywood and Burbank area has a strong per block martial arts presence.
Did you
It was
get
like
out and
Kempo.
show him some things?
No, I was scared to, man. I don't want to get my ass kicked by someone in Burbank.
Okay.
It's
At some point,
embarrassing.
Nick decided, "Let's go trick or treating," which we didn't do. But let's stop and imagine
we got close to
me,
trick-or-treating,
Sean,
though.
Nick, and Kevin trick or treating.
Wait, was it
Going to some
Saturday?
random
You were
neighborhood.
This was now Halloween.
Now
We've rolled
we've
into
caught
it,
up
okay.
to like, yeah, we're on Halloween.
That's awesome. They'd be like, really good costumes. You guys look like people whose dreams have died.
Well, yeah. we should set the scene though. We were driving. We had the whole reason we went down there was to shoot a season of Love and Sex stuff with all of our friends down there. So we caught up with Chloe, Anthony Carboni, a bunch of great. It was awesome, fun. Like 2 days of just hanging out and shooting with really talented people. So we Chloe Dykstra was our last person, and we're leaving. I think she was in Silver Lake, and we just started driving, and we're actually driving down Sunset during sunset, and it was really cool. And I'm like, let's just keep driving for a bit, and then we get to Beverly Hills, and Sean's like, do you guys want to drive through Beverly Hills and just look at the houses? Which we should never do because it's super fucking depressing because those houses are so big and so amazing that it actually makes you feel like a minuscule person. And then I saw some trick-or-treaters and I was like, how great would it be if we went trick-or-treating in this neighborhood and got
Get there.
immediately arrested and
Aaron
shot by the
Spelling's
cops?
house.
Hey,
He's giving
Aaron.
out full-size Snicker
Hundreds.
bars.
He's just giving hundreds out. But we ended up, Kevin had a great idea. Kevin's like, we should go trick-or-treating because we were trying to get invites to parties and we got a couple, but we were too tired. No. Your idea was genius on what we wanted to dress as. Now, am I allowed to say this or do you want to keep it
No,
for yourself?
we
for
are
later?
definitely allowed to talk about this.
So we're driving down Sunset and Kevin's like, I want to go to a Halloween party. We have to find a Halloween Emporium or something weird
yeah,
like
Hollywood Spirit Store.
that. Exactly.
Halloween.
I might have been the person to mention Halloween
Yeah,
Emporium.
like speaking of
It doesn't matter who
misquoting.
it doesn't matter who brought up the Halloween Emporium, okay? It's
It was a great idea. It doesn't matter who did it.
Kevin, I wanted to go as a dog dressed as a shark. You know how
Nice.
like when you dress up Portillo and just
Sure.
do this all night? Sad face.
He
Kevin's
likes
like,
it.
no, let's go as sexy kittens. And that would have been amazing.
So the idea would be
Leotards.
all of us in black leotards with those bullshit little ears, maybe a tail, and like the black
Yeah.
whisker paint. And it would have been the funniest fucking thing ever.
But I
we
wanted a
didn't do it.
leotard like they had in like Cats, where it went down to your belly button. You know what I mean? Where it just covered like just the nipples, but you can still see both sides of the nipples.
Yeah.
Just hairy chest and then an all white face with little whiskers and the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would
So
be amazing. Just
we
like
saw a
Cats.
lot of sexy kittens. There weren't any male sexy kittens.
Yeah.
But that's the weirdest thing about Halloween is that a lot of the girls just decide, I'm just gonna put little ears on. I'm a sexy cat. And it's like, man,
Lazy.
that might be the most common Halloween costume.
We saw a lot of. Well, we should say that we spent our Halloween stuck in traffic in LA. That was a particular mistake on our part. We decided to drive toward Hollywood after we saw the Jobs. And I was like, oh, let's go for a drive. There's a bunch of trick-or-treaters. And we got stuck in literally 4 hours of traffic because they
Jesus
shut down
Christ.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
They shut down like Highland and Hollywood Boulevard. And anywhere in like a 40 mile, or maybe not 40 miles, but like anywhere in like a 3 or 4 mile radius is gridlock.
Gotcha.
And so we were stuck on side streets watching all these people who were having a great
It was
time
not the
running back
worst
and
thing.
forth. And we were just like,
It
this-
was the best thing.
no,
Like,
we got to see people.
the only bad thing about it was the fact that I the night before we did something similar to Colin, and we went out.
Not so much we.
Me specifically,
Yeah, there you go.
like, oh my god, like I was
went
like,
hard.
I should probably stop after I had 12 old fashions that night. 12.
Jesus Christ.
12. I was fucked
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. That's a
It
lot.
was
That's
bad.
a lot. That's 24 ounces of bourbon.
And I was feeling it. So I was feeling it so hard.
Otherwise known as a bottle.
So
It's
it
a
was
bottle
like
of bourbon.
it was like a rough day for me, and I was so tired. I just wanted to go home and sleep. I did not want to go out and do any of the parties or anything. I was like, but it's me. I'm not gonna fucking be like,
You're gonna
let's
rally.
go back. Like,
You're Tim
if
Gettys.
anyone wants to do anything else, I'm like, let's fucking do that. I'm with you. We're gonna make this shit happen. But then the thing we decided to do is to drive. Just keep driving and not
drove
go
around
anywhere.
LA, man. It was fun.
But then we get stuck in traffic, which was the worst because I wanted to be in bed. But then I'm like, this is actually the best because everyone is just outside walking in costumes. Then we had to go through West Hollywood, which is like the gay area of
Sure.
LA from what
Sure.
I was.
That's what I understand.
From what I
too. It's like
understand,
it's
like the
similar to
Castro.
their
Yeah,
Castro.
Castro, yeah.
Castro, yeah.
And then things just got amazing.
Yeah.
Because the fucking costumes were spectacular.
Yeah.
And just ridiculous. So then it's just like everywhere we look is just like amazing. It was the most awesome thing ever. And then it lasted 4 hours.
Yeah, it was awesome for the first 10 minutes, and then we were stuck in it for 3 hours, and it became horrible, which is LA to me in a nutshell. It's great. It was awesome when there was no traffic. When there was traffic, it was the worst thing on the planet. We drove everywhere in LA. We stayed in North Hollywood. We went to Burbank. We went to Santa Monica. We were in Beverly Hills for a while. Like we had people that were all over the place, and it was really, really cool to just see. It was the first time in my life where I'd spent 2 days just driving around LA for work. And it was very fascinating because the city had always been very big to me. But now when you drive around on a Saturday, it's actually quite small. It doesn't take that long to get from Burbank to like Santa Monica if the traffic's clear. But man, when the traffic's not
Traffic's
clear,
never clear in LA though. That's the
fuck,
problem
man,
with LA.
It was brutal.
It's
And
45
somehow-
minutes anywhere.
Oh, and they were also having a
Dance off.
Kamikaze Con.
Oh
Is that
yeah,
what it
yeah,
was? Is that
yeah.
what it
It's
is?
called Kamikaze.
Kamikaze, which was cool, and we, a bunch of people were coming back from that, and we ended up downtown because I decided we were going to go to a counter burger that routed us downtown, so we got stuck in that for a little bit. But then that was hilarious because it was like the difference between the Halloween parties and the cosplayers.
Yeah.
It's like hardcore people that actually show up and look awesome versus the dude that just painted his face silver and was
And
like,
look-
I'm
and
a
put
Silver
cat,
Surfer.
Cat thing nipples.
Yeah,
on.
cat nipples.
nipples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all 6 of them. Do cats have 6 nipples, Kevin?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they do. If Porty does, they do.
It was fun. We had a great time, and it was cool to go on a road trip with. It felt like a road trip with the guys. Less work, more just like, hey, we're hanging out and going on a road trip. And then we got in the car to come back and started talking about selfishness, piggybacking on our conversation a few episodes ago. We were talking about is it
Kids.
bad to be selfish?
Okay.
Are most acts driven by selfish motivations? And that when again another argument dropped down.
Really?
So,
Yeah, I mean that went
We
from civil to 10 minutes later, Sean and Kevin again hating each
No,
other.
Yeah.
no, that was Nick. I didn't really care about this.
Yeah, I
No,
know,
but
if
then
you
we
would
were-
ask Sean.
we were screaming at each other in the car, not screaming, but very, very loudly talking to each other in the car. And then we all got hungry. And as we were like yelling at each other, I was like, does anyone want Carl's Jr.? And Sean's like, I would fucking kill Carl's Jr. right now. So we go into the Carl's Jr. We're still arguing, but we're like right here.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
you're fucking wrong. Look, that's still a selfish act. And everyone around us is looking at us like, did these
What is
guys, are they on
happening?
fucking speed right now? Like, what is happening?
we were so passionate and intense about it, and like we're in, the
This is
middle
like
of the
Kettleman City.
road. Yeah,
Yeah.
The people that are at this Carl's Jr. are not at all.
They're not deep philosophical
Yeah.
thinkers. They're trying to get from point A to point B, and that's pretty much
Long
it.
haul truckers.
They are. So it was pretty fascinating, but I think overall we had a great time.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I
liked-
really enjoyed it.
So we shot Love and Sex stuff.
Right.
Which was awesome. So right before we went down to shoot the special guest season, we put up our highest performing episode of all time, which was How to Have Sex for the First Time.
Right.
Which is, as of recording this, is a 237,000 views,
Yeah.
which blows my mind because I was like, "What the hell?" And
And
I'm like,
the
"All right."
week before is at 25,000.
Yes. So I'm like, and then we see like you can understand why some episodes perform better than others, like based on thumbnail and headline and all this. So there is an ebb and flow that's like fairly predictable.
Sure.
And like before this episode went out, I was talking to Kevin like this one's gonna do really well. Like I knew it was going to, but I didn't expect it to do this well. So then I look back at the analytics. It's because people are searching for how to have sex for the first time. That exact headline is something that is being searched for every day. And I was like, whoa, this is going to change my life.
This is going to change your life.
Yeah.
Every video we do now should be titled that.
Yeah, well, but see, there's an art to
How to
love
have sex
stuff.
for the first
To-
time.
to naming
Dashed
it.
Let's
Fallout
play.
4 review.
So we went down and we did a lot of the episodes. We did some with Chloe Dykstra, Ava Gordy, Trisha Hirschberger, the girls from Just Between Us, Anthony Carboni.
We're missing some people.
Mari Takahashi and Joven Shire from
Yes.
Smosh Games.
Right.
And I think that's it.
That was fun. It was interesting because we went from people's houses to we went to Defy Media, which is where Smosh is based out of. It was cool. Did it change your perception at all of LA, Tim? Because you had always had kind of a lukewarm, kind of understand just feel on LA in general.
I mean, no, it's still LA.
Just still LA.
Something that's really weird about LA to me is the fact that it has a very distinct look. You know, if you played San Andreas, that's pretty much it. You're like, all right, this is how things are. So every single corner looks identical, and it's just kind of like a bunch
Strip
of
mall?
shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Did I
is
see
that a
that
strip mall?
massage parlor back there?
And the stores don't have brands. Like
Yeah.
it's
Nails.
called Nails, Massage Parlor, Pizza.
It all looks like a set.
And it's like, yeah. And it's really, really, really weird. I'm like, what the hell?
Kenpo.
And everything looks really dirty. And it's you brought up, it's a different dirty than SF's dirty.
Yeah, it's
Like,
different. It's
every city has
not
its
dirty.
own dirty.
It's like dusty.
Yeah.
That's what LA looks like. To
It's
me.
worn. It's like a catcher's mitt. It's
It
like
is
it's
like a
worn
catcher's
in.
mitt,
It's
yeah.
been bleached by the sun. Here it's just shit and pissed on everywhere in San Francisco.
That's true. It's fresh, but it's fresh shit. Which is true because I went. What were we saying? We walked out when it was a little bit cold in LA. I was like, it's just it's a different vibe in LA. Different smells, different feels. I don't know which one I prefer though. I think I still prefer Northern California as far as just overall. I think Northern California to me is still the winner because you get a little bit more seasonality down here. But I enjoyed it. I
mean,
thought it was fun.
all the houses we were in were awesome, very different, very cool.
Yeah, we came to people's houses, which was fascinating because we were like, "Hey, we're down in LA." They're like, "Oh, where should we show up to?" We're like, "No, we'll come to you." And everyone's like, okay."
You can't come in the house. Take
No,
off your
like
shoes.
a bunch of people were like, well, I'll just come out because it was like, I mean, we don't want to impose on anyone's houses, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think most people are like, I'm not cleaning up for these fucking guys.
Nice.
Like, forget it. It's not going to happen.
But I mean, that was one of my favorite things about this shoot. Like, we've done a whole bunch of shoots like with other people or doing things. But what's cool about this is one of the first times that like you weren't involved.
Yeah.
So this was just me and Nick just kind of like, hey, people, like, let's do shit. Whereas usually it's like we're just like the fucking, B team side motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So that
Oh, I
was
know it.
an interesting a difference. But in addition to that, I thought it was cool that we had our shit so locked down. Like, we knew what we were doing and it was so in and out. We went in and shot 2 episodes with each person. We were in and out within 20 minutes.
Nice. Wow. dude.
And like everyone had that like sense of like, oh, that's it? Like, really? Cool. And I like that because I hate it when we have to do shoots and it's just like, oh, this takes forever.
Also, we were on time. Every
I don't
single
believe
time.
that. I'm
Every
glad
time.
I'm glad you can afford them that courtesy, but not us.
Yeah, but I mean, if with you it's hit or miss. I'm like, if I'm not on time today, I got another shot of it tomorrow.
It's been 10 months of tomorrows.
I'll hit it at some point. Yeah, it was fun though.
That sounds like great. When my big question as a fan of the show, when do they start rolling out?
I'm still thinking about that.
Okay.
Like, so there's something with this show specifically that I'm not sure exactly how I want to do it. I'm thinking about maybe keeping them till January, till next year.
We
to
all
roll
get
out
back
then.
for the holidays. And
Yeah,
everything,
and
right?
so that we can kind of, because I'm worried about the holidays. I don't know how our audience is going to consume the content during the holidays, if they're going to want more or if they're going to be busy. But also, I'm worried about, since we have guests and like I want them to be talking about these videos and tweeting it out and stuff.
Great point.
I don't want to be like, oh, hey, your episode's coming up on Christmas Eve. And they're like,
I'm in Tokyo.
whatever.
Sorry.
So they're not like tweeting stuff.
I'm
you know?
Anthony Carboni.
Yeah.
I have all this DLC money. I can do whatever I want. Do I have a beard or not? You never know.
He had a beard.
Anthony Carboni is
His episode was great.
the funniest motherfucker in
like
the
that guy.
He's a
entire
funny dude.
world. Like him and Nick, I want them on a show, just the two of them, and just let them do things. Nasty
I
to
would
each
love.
other.
I would love that.
You guys
Nick
are
would
very
love to do
similar.
things. Anthony
He's one of
Carboni.
those guys. Oh, do stuff with him to him. He's one of those guys that escalates, and then I escalate. He makes me want to escalate. Colin makes me want to escalate.
His episode, one of them, is how to take off a
It's
bra,
nice.
Nice.
and it went to dark places. Kevin got involved, and
We were gonna make Kevin wear the bra.
I was gonna say, did
we
Kevin
can-
have to wear the
no,
bra?
we pussed out. We didn't.
Then he walked
Didn't
over
mind
and you
the
noticed
bra.
there was cum on his shirt. You're like, ew, you know what? You go back behind the camera. It'll be okay.
Or walked over and he was already wearing a bra. And I was like, I'm not gonna ask. I'm not gonna ask why you got that bra on. But
it was a very different season 11 sex stuff too. Like I think that we've been doing like 23 episodes in, and I still like it. And like a lot of the topics are weird and crazy. Thank you guys. But it starts to be pretty similar where it's me and Nick, and our advice is usually be confident and
Be yourself.
communication
Tell
and
'em what you
whatever.
want.
But it's like that advice just fits. So
Yeah,
it's like we're
right.
giving real advice. But this was different because when you put Nick next to someone that he doesn't really know, he goes into full Nick mode where he's just like, I'm gonna be as funny as fucking possible, and it's the best because he goes off the rails and it just.
I saw him
doesn't make-
climbing like a pile of wood or something at Trisha's house.
Yeah,
It was a rock face, and I was practicing my rock climbing skills
You're part of the climbing
because I
community.
have to. Well, yeah, you got to re-up every once in a while. They have to test you
I understand.
to make sure that you're still part of the community. Kevin knows.
Oh, this is an on the
Kevin's
spot
shaking his
test.
head, yes.
The climbing community representative rolled by,
yeah.
saw you, and was like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
need to test you."
Trisha, her backyard has this amazing like fountain with rocks, and I was like, I have to climb on that. She's like, well, you're probably gonna hurt yourself, and I did. My hand was like scraped up the entire time because it was like lava rock, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
Another fun thing is, so we shoot the cold opens for Love and Sex stuff that are kind of like jokes based on the episode. For Trisha's, which the topic was, how do you know if a girl likes you? We didn't even need to shoot one because Nick is just naturally flirting 24/7. So we just had him.
I wasn't flirting. I was being.
She's married, newly
She
married.
just got married. I was being extra nice to impress her.
And that's what she says, like, man, I don't like, I'm trying so hard to impress you. And it's like, well, there's our cold open.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why, but I'm really trying hard right now to impress you. And she's like, that's awkward. And I was like, well, it is. It is awkward.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fun.
Nick,
LA. Yes, sir.
what's your topic?
So, Greg, I'm not young anymore.
No.
No. It's time we told everyone. Greg.
Don't put down the mask.
It's time we told everyone. I'm midway through my 30s, and it's making me look back on my life. And now I think I have enough distance from my 20s to really, like, examine them. Dare I say, even review my 20s.
Oh, you're gonna review them.
So I want those of us that are out of our 20s to go
So you
back.
just want me to go away?
No,
Yeah, I need more water.
You can give us kind of, you can give us sort of whatever input you think is valid
Okay, I can
into
review.
this. You can review your mid 20s.
Mhm.
You're halfway through your 20s. But I want to go because I look back on my 20s and they were very, very opposite sides of the spectrum. My early 20s, I was at a school that I wasn't particularly enamored of. I was super overweight, and I had no career prospects. Then flash forward to my end of my 20s. I got a great job. I'm on my way to being married, and we're on the way to starting this business. Yeah, that might have been a little early for the business, but
No, we were on our way to
but
starting
we were
it.
on the way. So it's very fascinating. I don't know. I just wanted to open that up to you guys. Like, what do you think overall of your 20s? Were they the best decade? Because I actually think that my 30s have been better in almost every way, shape, or form already than my 20s.
Okay, I see the question.
That's kind of where I'm angling toward. Because as I'm approaching lucky number 40, I think I'll look back on my
how far out are you?
5 years out.
Yes.
Well, 4 years out. I'm almost 36 in January.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like when I look back on my 30s, I'm going to say without a doubt, I love that decade. Knocked it out of the fucking park. But my 20s, I'm like, I got a lot of regrets from my 20s.
Regrets.
Yeah, things that I wish I could go back and redo. And I know everyone's always like, no regrets. And that's true. I mean, I like the person I'm at right now. But let's be honest. Everyone's got something
Fuck
they
that. I
go
have
back
all
and be
sorts
like,
of
yeah,
regrets.
you're
That's just
fucking
real life. It's real life.
Yeah.
You ever
So,
see that guy's the tattoo? that
No
says,
regrets.
No
No
regrets.
regrets
It's
or
misspelled.
whatever,
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That would have
That's
been
the
me.
funniest
That's
thing
why I
in
don't
the
get
world.
tattoos. I'd be like, I think it's spelled right. I think beautifully spelled with 8 E's.
See, you're asking, is it you led with it was the best decade of your life?
Yeah,
Which is hard to answer now. I'm 32, so
Yeah.
I'm into my third decade of life here, or whatever. And so like you can't review this currently the 30s would be a review in progress,
Okay.
which we've never done on Oration, so I'm not sure how to put that on the scale. Sure, the patented 20-point scale. I mean, like, the 20s were definitely better than my 10 to
Teens.
20s. Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like high school sucked, school sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was great parts, obviously, but that's
There's
the problem.
nothing
Is
better than
there's
teens.
so much sweet and sour to everything. You know what I mean? Right now, I would say my 20s were, in terms of like on the scale, I would say probably were better than my 30s right now. Maybe I don't know, but I think it's because I'm in the weeds with my 30s right now, and so it's the negatives that stand out to me, right? The stress of the business, like making sure all this stuff happens. I think I had more friends back then. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I had more acquaintances that I was I was around, right?
Sure.
But like this whole business and leaving everything has definitely like changed my perception of friendship and who my real friends are.
Do you think that's the business, or do you think it's because, like, I remember distinctly having a much more active social life in my 20s, but I just don't have energy for that anymore. I still
That's
have,
part of it
all my
for
friends are
sure.
still there.
No.
I could call people up and be like, let's go into a loud bar next Saturday night and try to scream at each other, or I could eat frozen yogurt and watch Arrow.
Right. No, I hear you. No, there's part of that for
Right.
sure. I mean, I've always found it interesting the older I got, right? And I guess it's more like in college, right, which is the beginning of my 20s there, or whatever.
When it ramped up for you.
Exactly. And even I guess when we first started at IGN, right, like when we were all like that, like the hive mind, we all had the same interests. Like, Friday would end, we'd all go to the movies at the Metreon, and then Saturday we'd go drink somewhere, and then we'd go do this. We'd all hang out in these groups or these cliques. It's fun to see. It's been interesting to see, like, now it's like, yeah, we get to Friday, and like if somebody's doing something on Friday, I'm like, fuck these people. What the fuck? God damn it. I don't want to drive into, I want to be, you know what I mean? Like, but that's this weird thing for us. I feel like that, especially when we're in convention season, right? That we live our social life during the day all the time around these things and stuff. So then when it gets to a Friday or Saturday where there's not a trip to go on or something to do or a work event, that it's like, well, fuck it. I just want to sit here and play video games. And I'll get really cranky if I'm not allowed to, even if it is to go to somebody's wedding, even if it is to go to some
something you're going to enjoy once you get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean but I remember in college there, and then when we started here, like if you weren't doing something on Friday, Saturday, it was like, what's going on? Like, what, am I sick? Who's sick? Why wouldn't I want to go out and do something?
Did I die that no one told me?
Right.
Yeah, I feel like you're just a lot more focused in your 30s. That's what I mean.
Sure, no, I mean we're super focused on what we're doing right now, and that's the thing. But I don't know if that's necessarily
good or bad.
No, it's definitely good. I'm not of the mind that we're gonna look back in our 40s and be like, oh man, why did we work so hard in that business, or what? You know what I mean? Like, no, like but I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I don't hang out with as many people anymore, right?
Yeah.
But it goes both ways. That I don't call them and they don't call me. So it's just like one of those things. Like, oh, we were acquaintances, not friends. That's interesting. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have really good friends though that I still just don't see anymore. Like,
sure, but then there's a difference.
People have kids. People have wives. People have like. They have different types of lives than we used to have when we would all band. Like when I was Tim's age, I would be thinking about the comic club right now.
No, that's
and we would all be there in that booth Saturday night trying to hit on whatever walked through the door.
That's why I'm talking about why it worked back then, right? Is that you all were like-minded in the exact same situation. Exactly. You know what I mean? You moved here, you didn't. Some people had a girlfriend, somebody didn't. But even if you had a girlfriend, they were like down to go to Eddie Rickenbacker's at 9:30 on a fucking Thursday. You know what I mean? And get fucking destroyed and pet a cat all night long.
And that weird cat.
Like, I mean, like, I always talk about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember a random Sunday one day when I was living downtown in the high rise, so early in the IGN career, where I was just like, I feel like getting drunk in the middle of the day. And I called Ostertag. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. I'm like, you want to come drink? He's like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'm like, all right. Yeah, that's how life was right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it worked.
Can't do that now. He's got a wife and a kid.
Yeah, no.
Lives in Texas. It would take him a little longer than 10 minutes to get it.
Exactly. He ruined
He'd
it
come,
for me.
though.
He would come. Oh, he totally come.
Now, I don't know. I feel like the decade of the 20s was about the big group. We have this huge group of friends, and we're all going to do this or that or the other. And now I feel like so far the 30s are very much like it's Colin and I. Let's go to dinner tonight and do that. Or I'm going to reach out and try to touch base with somebody I haven't touched base with a while and go hang out with them or do that or whatever. And then having you schmoes here every day.
Yeah.
The acquaintance thing is really interesting. I mean, well, first off, talking about my 20s, best thing ever. But I definitely...
You're 10 out of 10 so far?
10 out of 10. I mean, for sure. It's like... I feel like every year of my life has been better than the last. Like, more bullshit's happened. Like, shit happens. Bad things happen. Like, a lot of bads happen. But every year, I get closer and closer to things being better and better and better. And through that, I've kind of weeded out the people, the acquaintances and whatever. And I've never really been like a big friend group type of guy. I've always been more like, I really like this person. I want to spend every waking moment with this person. Whether that's fucking Kevin or... like all my other friends, and like I've had my same group of friends, and since I haven't really moved or whatever, like it's my clique is my clique, right? And there's been members added to that clique, and I think that throughout, my teens, like my preteens, and then teens, and then early 20s, those groups of friends never really like meshed. And then now in my 20s, it's finally that thing where everyone else is weeded out, and all those people have weeded out their motherfuckers. So now it's just like this core group of people coming together. So now Kevin's hanging out with my friends from high school and my friends from middle school and Nick and all these people. And we could all be together. We just drove down to LA with Sean Finnegan, Kevin Coelho, me, and Nick. That's like such a random group of people. But now that's not random at all. Like that's bros, So I feel like I've just become better, at least more how I want to be. And 20s have been fucking awesome. I still got a couple years left. Like I can't see things going down.
No, 20s are awesome. Yeah.
What's going to be better than that? 30s.
I'm with you that year over year it gets better and better. Right? That's just because you become more adult in a better comfortable situation. You know yourself. You know your group, right? But it's just an interesting thing of looking back at look back at 20s and I think these crazy rock band things at IGN or the Antler parties or this or Mizzou. You know what I mean? Like all these different things. Whereas like so far the 30s have been this, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love Kind of Funny, obviously. I love hanging out with you guys. I love traveling the world with you and seeing the best friends and stuff, right? But it's different. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm
I
expressing
mean,
it
and you know, last week we were talking about nostalgia a lot. I think this kind of feeds into it. And I've really reflected on that topic, and I was thinking about it a lot because I was like, man, like, why am I so positive about it when I feel like overall it was a negative thing? And I was like, it's because, and me and Kevin even talked about it. It's like, we've constantly been trying to just make things better. And it's like the things that we love, we just carry them and we just keep going. And it's like, we look back at that, but then I look now in my life, I'm like, this is great. Like, there's not a day that goes by that something doesn't happen where I'm like, I love my life. Like, this is so weird. And it's fucking awesome. And I think another thing that for people that are in their 20s right now that's a little bit different is the fact that we grew up with technology and we grew up with instant messaging. Like, from the time that I became a real person, so like 13, when like the people that I met became, you know, my friends that I'm gonna have, and when I'm not just like someone learning how to read and all that shit. Like, at any moment I could message people, you know, and that was what I wanted to do.
You got every single one of us with that.
Yeah, but it's like talking to people at all times, right? I get off of school and it's like, I want to talk to you, and so we'd aim, or it's like, I want to talk to you, whatever. And then as things progressed, now that's what text messages are. And you just text your friends. So even though a lot of my core friends have moved on to like going to grad school and at fucking Yale and like all this shit, living different lives, or like going down to LA for med school. So my core group of friends that I have here, but the ones that have left, I feel like I'm still very close with them because we talk all the time, whether it's text or whatever. And so it's like all the other people, I don't need to go hang out at bars with anyone.
Yeah.
Because I don't like that shit, you know?
Yeah, I feel like you just naturally eventually drift away though from people.
Yeah, that's true
just
too.
What happens? They drift away from you, you drift away from them, and it just happens.
They get the cut.
Yeah, it's not the cut. I mean, I have friends
get
that
the cut.
I every once in a while I'll
You're
hop
stone
on the
cold.
phone with after a year, haven't talked to them. I'm like, fuck, I forgot how great of a relationship we used to have, and this is really fun catching up with you. And then a year goes by and I don't talk to them again. And it's
But I
my
mean, well,
fault as much
that's
as
not
it is
them getting
theirs.
the cut then. That's just them. Like, that's just that relationship.
I don't. I
That
mean, I
is
never
what that
cut.
is.
I don't think guys ever cut anyone.
No, I cut.
Women, I feel like I've seen my wife cut people.
I cut.
before,
That's
like,
not
literally,
true, 'cause
like,
I cut
strike
people
them off
all
the
the
list.
time.
Really?
People get the cut.
Really?
Oh, for sure.
Oh man.
I don't got time for bullshit, man. I like investments.
Oh, see, I don't mean like. I mean, yeah, I've actually seen my wife break up with girlfriends, and that's not as sexy as it's supposed to sound. She has friends who are female, and they have had falling outs. Whereas I feel like guys just go like, I'm just not calling that dude anymore.
Exactly.
We don't call him.
If I don't call him or text him back, then
That
it's just
means
going to
you're
end.
done.
They take care of it on its own.
I don't know. To sort of wrap this up, I give my 20s 7 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. My 30s I think are a 9. It's a review in progress, but I think 9 out of 10 so far.
See, that's why I don't want to do it though, and that's why
Well, I'm a little farther along than you are.
I have incomplete information.
I'm
like,
6 years into my
my 30s are great and amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think my 20s were amazing too.
Yeah.
And they were different
What
kinds
do you
of
give your
amazing.
20s? You're not going to give a score?
9.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I had a great time. I lived. I enjoyed myself. But it was like, it was a little bit of everything. Like, I'm an adult now, right? I didn't feel like an adult in my 20s back then. You know, I went to
Yeah.
this entire decade, right? And you look back and you definitely weren't an adult,
I was
right?
a child.
Yeah, and it's like you wish you could go like so back to the nostalgia topic, right? Of like you wish you could go back and I could tell myself like appreciate this day in college where all you have to do is go to one class and then play NCAA football with Reese all day. You know what I mean? Like that's not normal.
Yeah. Those are good days.
Except for when you do it on a Twitch stream for all of your friends.
That's true.
Also, NCAA football won't be there past Greg, so enjoy while it's around.
Mine gets a 10.
You go 10 out of 10?
Straight up 10. I mean, I'm not done with it, but like I can't imagine anything happening that would make it any worse than my teens at all. Like I remember a distinct moment when I was 19 when I was like, this is the best year of my life. Like it's the biggest year of my life. I got my first real girlfriend. I lost my virginity. I got my first real job. I got my driver's license and a car. Like
At
all
19?
of those things. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are, I was late in a lot of things.
I'm just wondering.
But I was like, this is huge. Nothing will ever be bigger than that. In the past 9 months alone,
Everything's been
been bigger than that. So
That's
it's
true.
like, cool. And I'm expecting much bigger things to happen in the future. So it's
Yeah.
like 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Colin, how do you rate your 20s?
I don't know. It depends on it depends on where I am. Like 20, 21, 22, it's an 11 out of 10. Like my days at Northeastern were fucking awesome. And I've been reflecting a lot about those days recently and I miss those days a lot. When I came here 2007, I would say it started to go down a little bit, but I professionally everything's great. I mean, in my 20s everything professionally was on the up and up, but it's like it's the same real talk I had with my nostalgia topic where I'm not going to sit here and like paint the rosy picture. Like there are things I regret. There are decisions I regret. There's time that I wish I had back. I'm never going to get my 20s back. And so I think that, there's been I don't want to say like a series of dubious decisions because that's not true at all, but
a series of dubious decisions. The
decisions.
Colin Moriarty story.
I'm writing that down right now.
But no, I said my life story was going to be called a series of trivial events.
I like dubious decisions.
Dubious decisions.
But I've been reflective more lately in my 20s, and I'm not sure that I did everything that I wanted to, that I should have done the right way. I think that, I stopped being as social. I used to be, people look at me as like curmudgeonly and stuff like that, but the fact of the matter is, and I think Greg and Nick know this version of me a little bit better, I used to be very social and like very, not like social butterfly or bubbly, but I was like really out there. Like I was one of those people Greg could call and we would drink, or I've known Nick for a very long time, and
I've had on many a girlfriend of yours.
I know not only one girlfriend, but multiple. That's how long I've known Nick. So it's one of those situations where I just, I'm not the same that I used to be, and I think that that's normal. But at the same time, like I don't like that I become more jaded. I don't like that I become a little more curmudgeonly, and like those are things I'm just very self-aware of, and I'm not quite sure why it happened or when it happened or how it happened.
I would love to see a bubbly Colin.
I mean, when I was 23 or 24 years old, I was like a kind of a partier, and
I don't know that you were ever bubbly.
No, that's what I was saying. I wouldn't call myself bubbly. No, but I was.
Smiled more.
I was definitely very social and like always out. I mean, and hanging out. I mean, that's how I got to know Nick back in the day. I've known Nick since I was like 20 years old, 21 years old. So it's we drank a lot, and I think part of it was what Greg was saying was that group of friends, Dave and Eric and Nate and Charles is still here, but like we don't insane like these guys are still here, but like we were all together, and so I think we all hyped each other up and got out there. Ty and Brennan, and there's a lot of just we all came up together in some respect, and I think that was part of it. I think that otherwise life would have been a little more mundane and normal, even back then. So I think that my days at Northeastern were awesome, but and I miss them a lot, and I miss those people a lot. But I think that my 20s kind of, were okay in terms of from a social ramification from different perspectives. Professionally, they were very successful. I want my 30s to be I'm 31 now, and I want my 30s to be a little bit different. I'm trying to like seize the bull more by the horns and make the decisions that I need to make to like make myself happy. Yeah. And not just keep the status quo and not just go along with the ride anymore. Because I feel like I've wasted a lot of time and ways in my life that that I'm very self-aware of right now. And it's not like necessarily major ways, but just things that you can't, time is fucking precious, and I'm trying to become more aware of that. That's why I'm not like trying to be up, necessarily be up video games ass all the time. And not trying to like, trying to like spread my time around and talk to people and go out. Like we were talking about keeping up with their friends. The fact of the matter is, and I've told Greg this, like I have on the schedule, like just meetings that I have with my friends at night. Like my friends, Chris and Sarah, I go to dinner with them every other week just to make sure that we see each other and try to be more active in that way so that I can, find, so that when I'm 40 or 41, that I don't look back at my 30s and I'm like, well, another wasted fucking, not a wasted, but another decade that could have been better. That I don't want to look back and be like, I wish I made all these engineering tweaks to my fucking life at that time. I want to be like, well, you learned from your 20s and made things better and more productive. But that said, that's a very fucking shitty way to look at it, because my 20s were also very positive in a lot of ways. I made myself in my 20s, and I'm really proud of that. So it's.
I don't think it's a bad way to look at it. I think it's good because all it's saying is you want those to be better.
Yeah, I definitely want it to be better. Like,
yeah,
if like you were, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, like these were 2008. I mean, these were great fucking years.
9 and 10, man.
Like things really changed when when I became more of an adult. We were talking about adulthood, and I was like, the older I got, the more things became serious, and the more things changed, and the more in my head I became, and the more fucking neurotic I became, and the more nervous I became. And it's like, fuck, man, like I got to get this shit under control in a lot of different ways. So that's just me being real.
I think that's one of the things about like looking back and looking forward right now, right? It's like right now I'm in the middle of my 30s and trying to figure things out. Like I'm doing work right now, like on myself personally, right? In my relationships and my friendships and stuff like that. And so then right now I'm underneath the hood of the car tinkering on the car, whereas I can look back at the 20s and they're a finished car, right? You know exactly what they look and where the dings were or whatever. But like right now it's this decision of like, man, who do I need? So who are my real friends? How do I spend time with them? What does that mean if they live far away? How do you know what I mean? Like what do you do with all that information? It's a work in progress, Tim. You'll understand one day.
Yeah, I understand.
You don't understand right now.
I understand
You're fucking
all
sexy.
the goddamn time.
Vero.
I got shit figured out. Until you guys have a Kevin, you don't understand
We
life.
have Kevin. He's Kevin.
Yeah, I know, but
We
like,
have Kevin. Kevin,
Yeah.
raise your hand. There he
But
is.
raise the other one and put it in front of the camera so people see that you're there. Look at that
That's
fucking
Kevin.
stupid ass watch he wears. Kid doesn't even get the right emails anymore. Can't even do it anymore.
Google.
Can't even.
Google. Text
Google.
hey, Google. Text Paula. We're over. Send. One day I'm going to get it. One day I'm going to get it.
Colin,
Yes.
what's your topic?
Okay, so I have an interesting one. And we've talked about religion and God and all this kind of stuff. That's not what I want to talk about today, unless that's where we end up going. You know, who the hell knows where we go? But I want to talk about heaven and hell. I've recently been talking to a friend of mine about all sorts of different subjects, and one of the things she and
Mike
I
Pope, damn it.
no, not Mike Pope. One of the things that she and I were talking about, she likes kind of serious conversations. We've known each other for a long time, and we've talked about some serious things.
kind of serious conversations. Ooh.
But just in topics, I mean, there's an array of topics. And one of the things she and I had talked about that really resonated with me and kind of gave me pause, like, just in my, going about my business is, what is so bad about what I said?
No. But you said kind of gave me pause, and Greg.
Look at my hands. If they
It's
turn
way
into
funnier
pause.
to me than it should have been, but
You're
it
a complete
was.
moron.
You two share brain sometimes, I swear to God.
So one of the things she and I were talking about that just, I was just thinking about after the fact was the idea of heaven and hell. And, she and I are not religious people, so we don't really believe in the dynamic of these places, but a lot of people do. And I was kind of curious about not necessarily where you stand now with your religion or anything. That's kind of your business, and it's not really the topic. Do you think you will go to heaven or you will go to hell if you die and maybe they exist? Let's say they exist. And like, what is your mental criteria? Like, because everyone has their criteria, right? Everyone has like their excuse and their scapegoat of like, oh, I'll go to heaven because, even though I did blah, 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 I'm going to go to heaven. Because that is personally my personal mentality. We talked about that on the show before, that I just don't believe that, even though I'm not a believer, that if I went to the gates, that they look at my record or whatever and be like, well, you lived a bad life. It's like, I've been a good person. I think I've done the right thing way more often than I haven't. Those without sin or, they don't exist. So so I'm just curious, like, what your guys' like mental criteria is. Like, how do you think about the afterlife and where you're going to go? And do you think you'll go to heaven?
I'd get in.
Well, you'd figure out a way in.
That's my thing. Is like, do I deserve to get in?
Yeah.
No,
You'd be
absolutely not. Like, I know that for a fact. Which that alone proves that I shouldn't be able to.
Why
get in.
wouldn't you get into heaven?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't.
You're a shoo-in for heaven.
No, my
Yeah.
ideas of what heaven is way, way, way above me. I think that if real talk, if like heaven and hell were what we think they are, there's like 3 people total getting into heaven. Like everyone else is fucked, but I'll get in there. It's like Club 33 at Disney. Like one day I'll find my way in. And the thing with that is all you got to do, it's the Mike treatment. You just got to go get Mike. You can get in anywhere by telling them to go get Mike. You walk up and they're like, who are you? I'm like, no, go get Mike. Go get Mike. Mike, I'm with Mike. I'm with Mike. There's always a Mike. Mike might not be working that day. Mike might be there. And if Mike comes, you just fucking act like you know Mike. Mike will be confused. You know how many people Mike knows? Mike knows everybody. You'll get it.
Didn't John Travolta play Michael?
He did in the movie Michael.
Michael.
He
Wasn't
brought a
that-
dog back to life.
Yeah.
And Joey Lauren Adams fucked him.
Would you be crazy if John Travolta
Not the
showed
dog.
up?
Sorry, that was bad sentence structure.
Damn.
You fuck the dog. It's great.
Hey, you brought that dog back to life. Go fuck that woman. What?
There's a lot of things going on right now.
Michael, though, yeah. And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
smelled different to everybody. This is
Did
also
he?
when Andy McDowell was a leading lady.
Oh, she was awesome. It's like Groundhog's Day time period.
Yes.
Eddie
That was
McDowell.
not a good movie.
No.
Andy McDowell.
Andy
100 Deeds
McDowell.
for Eddie McDowell.
Groundhog's Day was a great movie. Michael was not a good movie. Neither was Phenomenon. That was a weird movie. Remember that one? Moving you. That was, I don't know.
Did you see the Anna Kendrick thing? The shower tweets, shower thoughts?
No.
You were
It's an
telling me
amazing
about
video.
that.
One of the deep shower thoughts was they should announce a reboot of Groundhog Day and then just re-release Groundhog Day.
That's awesome.
That would be funny. That's
That was
good.
pretty awesome. I think I deserve to go to heaven because I feel like I'm more of a good person than I am a bad person.
So is that the
But I feel
qualification?
like I wouldn't. And I feel like it would be a very close race. And I can imagine they're bringing lots of archangels in and lots of other people in that are going to kind of look through my history. But I feel like the sticking point would not necessarily be from the hours of when I wake up to like 8 or 9 o'clock. It would probably be the activities post 10 o'clock to like midnight. when my wife goes to bed and I look at excessive amounts of porn. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I feel like they would look and be like, he's not hurting anyone. And God would be like, but look at the damage it's done to his soul.
Just look at his search history.
Just who strings these words together to search for this? And why would you watch whatever pops up? You know what I mean?
Can you
We
give me an
can't let him
example?
in here.
Give me an example.
I mean, I've told you the worst thing I've ever searched for when it comes to porn is like I got so tired of searching for all the other crazy things like, you know, well, I'm not going to go too far into it. I don't want to go that far into it. But like the other day I was like, I'm going to type in love and see what comes up.
The craziest thing I ever
The craziest thing I
searched for.
love. Sometimes I type in kissing. And it's twisted, Colin. It's twisted.
Dude, no, those are the best.
But no, I mean, I think to be serious, I feel like everyone does. I think I'd get in. Absolutely, I would get in. I'm a good guy. I'm a good person. I do good stuff. I got a wife. I treat her real good. Real good.
True to good.
I don't break laws. I don't go out of my way to hurt people. I don't really hurt people in general. I try to be good. The more I think about it, the only sticking point is going to be that porn. It's going to be that extraordinary. But I could probably chalk that up to some sort of addiction. I'd be like, look, God, if you had porn at your fingertips, what would you do, bro? And then it would be slow dolly into God's eyes, slow dolly into my eyes. And he'd be like, let him in.
Yeah. That makes
I
sense.
said let him in.
I feel like there'd be a lot of questions about you, Nick. Like there'd be a lot of searching because they'd be like, all the cocaine. You're like, I never did cocaine. Never once did
But they'd be like, you know how many, but you talked about it so often. Do you know how many people did cocaine because they heard about it from you?
I would actually want to know that number. I'd be like, what is that number?
This is one of those
Actually,
things where
fascinated
St. Peter
by
wouldn't be
it.
able to handle it himself. That like they would call God in. You'd have to get put on a side list and then have to go to an appointment where God's at the appointment so they can really go through your record.
And they'd go through. And
It's
they'd be like-
complicated.
I felt at the end of the day, though, I'd be charming enough. So they'd be like, this guy's kind of, let's let him in. He's fun at a party.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine
Let's
you.
let it in.
That's the thing is you give yourself not enough credit when it comes to like getting into shit. I feel like you can get into pretty much anything just because within 2 minutes of talking to somebody, you go from creepy to charming to like the person questioning if they want to leave the person that they're with.
Wow.
And then it goes creepy again for a second. But
Yeah,
then
no.
it does come back out and you're like, man, this guy's really cool.
You always have to have a sense of danger when you're talking to the opposite sex.
I wasn't talking about the
I go
opposite
crazy
sex.
into creepy sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we'd all get in.
Yeah,
We would.
without a doubt,
Portillo
we'd all
would
get
too.
in. Oh, Porty, he'll meet us there.
So,
Little
I mean, like,
wings. He got little wings,
who do we know
little angel
wouldn't
wings.
get in?
I like nobody.
Kevin.
You don't know anybody.
We don't know anyone that wouldn't get in.
No.
Really?
I
Yeah.
do, but I
So just
I have to go
everyone
there.
just fucking gets
Do you know
in.
any murderers?
So only murderers go to hell.
I mean, like, it's
I think
such
we
a
just don't
binary, weird thing. Do we really believe in that version of heaven and hell?
Well, so I mean, what's the point? It's like if the question is, are we getting in? And there's like not really any question of if we are or not.
I can think of a couple
I think
people.
you only know good people. That was what I'm
I
saying.
don't know, man.
I can think of a couple people I've met that I'm like, you're not getting in.
You're going.
I think you guys are missing the. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's just my interpretation, but I think intent is a really big part of it. In my mind, like, what is your intent? The power of intention, as Wayne Dyer used to say, who was like a motivational speaker that I like.
He also did hockey.
No,
No?
he didn't do hockey. Wayne Dyer didn't do hockey.
That was Wayne Gretzky.
You're right.
So I think that's it. It's like it like really is like I do think that people have like what is in your heart, like what is your intent, like how do you carry yourself, what do you do? Everyone has their fucking terrible moments, and everyone has their things that they would take back, or the things they wish they didn't say, or the things they wish they didn't do. And I really believe that really can go from like the best person in the world, like on the outside, to someone in prison. Like I think that can span the gamut from like,
Sure.
you know, I think that there are people walking around Wall Street right now with hearts of darkness. I think that there are people in prison for 30-year sentences for assault or whatever, assault and battery or whatever, 20 years, that have good hearts.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that
Just made
like
a mistake.
exactly. I'm not saying that if you murder or rape or something that's something you should be forgiven for, because I don't believe that that's the case. But I do think that there's intention is really important. Like how you carry yourself and how you treat other people, I think is really important. And again, we all treat people in different ways sometimes. I remember, just as an example, I hate cabs. And I remember getting into a cab like a year or so ago, and I'm sick of them, and I get into a cab at SFO. I'm back from like a business trip, and I get in, and I'm like, I need to go to my address, and he's like, or like the area I'm going to, like where we say, and he's like, all right, like, And the guy's like, Johnny's like, all right, do you have an address? And I'm like, dude, do you not know where the fuck? Like, I literally was like, cause I'm just so terrible. I'm sick. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you drive a cab and you don't know like how to get to this place. And he's like, I just want to put it in the thing, like, and like just kind of turn it around or whatever. And I was like, shit, sorry. You know, like that was totally uncalled for. I didn't mean to talk to you like that.
You're going to hell.
But the point is that like there are
The
people.
cabbie said it, and then he flipped the cab.
But the point is that there are people out there that talk to people like that all the time and don't care. Whenever I like know I'm rubbing someone the wrong way, or like not with what I'm saying, but how I'm saying something, then that's something I try to correct, because I just think it's about how you treat other people. That's most important. It's the please and thank you culture. It's all that kind of stuff. Like I think that in my heart, even though we've all done bad things, like for sure. Like everyone has done something that's bad. But it's a matter of like what is in your heart and the nature of you, not to be like too reductive, but like the content of your character. I think that's really important. We all have
balance, right? How far toward good do you have to be percentage wise?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So if it's like
can
heaven,
I be
hell,
50-50?
Is it a 50-50, or is it like you need to be 80% good to go into heaven?
I would say more good than bad. I would imagine by a wide margin.
This is where I think the whole Catholic purgatory argument comes in too. If
I'm not going to purgatory, it's either heaven or hell.
I don't have time
and
and
space for purgatory.
I don't believe purgatory even
You're
exists.
just gonna turn him down. You're like, listen, just flip a coin. I gotta go somewhere. I'm not sitting here with all these unbaptized babies.
It's just
the
again,
noise.
Going back to the conversation I had with my friend, the conversation she and I had. It's just an interesting conversation in the sense that I don't really believe either of these places exist. The sad thing, the scary thing about dying for me, and I am scared to die, not like the act of dying, but the feeling of being gone, because I really do believe it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a scary thing for it to shut off. One day you will shut off.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what is that?
Nothing.
You know, and
nothing, you got nothing.
So that's a scary thing. And so these things make you feel better. It makes you feel like it philosophically makes you feel like you have control. And that was
Sure.
And so when you look at things like Calvinism, which is a sect of Protestantism, that showed you that the idea of Calvinism was predestination, that you had no control, that everything was predestined. Every decision you made was already written, and it's already conceived whether you're going to go to heaven or hell before you're even born. And so the thought of even like saying like, oh, but my mind's saying to go left, so I'm going to go right today to prove it. It's like, no, they
knew you were going to have that argument and do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a powerless position to be. That's why I like Calvinism. To me is like I respect all religions, all sects of Christianity, whatever. But that was always a really powerless place to me, and so that's why I think people like look forward to having some sort of control over the situation. The other side of it, of course, is like the idea of Catholic indulgences and stuff like that, like the idea that you can buy yourself into heaven, which was what caught one of the things that drove Luther to nail the thesis to the door of the church. Anyway, so I don't know. I just find it a fascinating philosophical conversation about the different criteria we have. And we've already shown by the four of us talking about it that the criteria is not set in stone. The criteria is not even really set in stone in the Bible. So it's just interesting. You know,
how do you come down on the argument? Not even argument, theory or whatever you want to say, that the kingdom of heaven is here on earth right now?
No, I don't buy that. I mean, to me, that's ridiculous considering the war and the pestilence and the famine and
not for you.
I got in.
Not for me, but for everyone around us. I mean, look what we were talking in Colin Moriarty Live. We talked about the Syrian refugees.
Right.
That's just a great example of like a war torn. Like that goes back, and we can get into that later about why I don't think God exists, because I just can't imagine a situation where it's just like let it play, like just roll the dice and see how it plays out, and you just sit there and let this shit happen to just innocent people. Like that's my major problem with religion. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But that's always the problem. Whenever we bring up this topic, this is what we always get to, is that I think you have trouble separating in your arguments God from religion. Because what if God created this big bang and walked away, and he's not this thing we think about or do or have anything to do? That's what I was talking about. I feel like I see the influence of God every day, every moment of my life. This divine inspiration. Yeah. The light on Tim's face right now. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? I can't imagine there wasn't some divine hand in getting us to that point, to this thing. Not taking away man's ingenuity, the creation of the light bulb. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying God is like, let's fucking make a light today.
No,
you know what I mean? But I'm saying, like, I don't know if he needs to be there guiding every step of the way. I think indulgences are bullshit, clearly. Predestination, I don't agree with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's there nudging things into the way as much as maybe this happened and that's it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then that was his or whatever the fuck it was.
Well, the passive God you're discussing is like more of a deist God, which is like what a lot of the founders were. That's like what a lot of Enlightenment thinkers believed, which is that God created and turned his back on everything. I mean,
but
in a
I
nutshell.
don't know.
But I mean, I just
It's hard for me to rectify that. It's hard because I feel like going back to an earlier point you made, which is it's comforting. The whole thing is comforting.
oh yeah,
But the danger with that is when you say that there's something after life, when there's you can die, but there's something beyond that. It puts less importance on kind of what you accomplish in this life, and that's the biggest problem I've always had with it. Right, where people are like, well, if I live a good life and do everything I'm supposed to do, I'll be rewarded in the afterlife. And I'm like, I'd like to be rewarded now. I'm not going to make that bet. Because I feel like all of your decisions are way more important if you know that at the end of that road, it's lights out. That's it, right? And suddenly your life becomes very important. You might only have 20 years left. What are you going to do with that? Or
A lot.
you might go to heaven and you have an eternity of whatever. So just,
But that's
see
the
how
whole
see
thing.
the difference in importance.
a great
levels
man
there?
did once say, YOLO.
It is YOLO.
He did say that.
yeah.
Justin Bieber.
And that's what back to your point. That's what I'm when we're talking about the 20s. That's what I'm learning now in my mind slowly, just like really more recently over the past few months is just I have got to take control. Like time is finite.
Yeah.
Any of us can die tomorrow.
I don't know if it's a matter of control necessarily, because you and I both we're smart enough to realize you never really have control. Like we could have the best life possible and a fucking tsunami could come just wipe us out like that. We can't do anything about it. But I think what you're more referring to is you've got to take sort of a more, well, you're a pretty proactive guy in general, but I feel like you and I think all of us could probably, we feel that urgency, right? Where as we get older and we start accomplishing things in our 30s or, early 20s, whatever the fuck Tim is still, or infancy, you start to feel like, well, I've gotten just a little bit. Fuck, I should get more. I should accomplish more. I'm capable of more, and I'm not living up to that. And that there becomes that sort of that need to keep up and then surpass where you were before. I feel it every day. I feel like every day I go home and I'm like, I could do more today. I could accomplish more. I have the capability to do these great, wonderful things. We've proven that. We've made this thing together. Now we can do more. Can I do more? And that's my biggest fear, is that I won't accomplish the things that I want to accomplish before I die. That's it. That's my biggest fear in life, and I do have that fear every day. I don't know. Is that kind of, do you vibe with that, or are you thinking more like,
well, I think what you're talking about, I think is more like agency over your life, like the idea that you can control these aspects of your life that you can control, you should. Yeah, we cannot control the meteor that's going to fucking crash on Earth one day and kill us all or something.
or the moon just leaving?
Right, or the moon leaving,
fuck
and
this.
maybe something happens, and maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. My biggest thing is you control how you react to it. I think that is what life is. It's knowing that you don't have control of what's happening, but things happen, and how you handle it is what makes you who you are and your life. So
Yeah,
That's true.
I think what I'm realizing now is that I was more, I guess what the core of the issue for me, and this goes back to the previous topic, is I was way more comfortable wasting lots of time when I thought I had lots of time.
Yeah.
And now that I get older, I know it's like a fucking morbid, we're not fucking cavemen that die at 27 years old anymore. Like our average, age is, by the time we get older, we're all going to probably live to be well over 100 as long as things like go the way that they're going. I mean, that's obvious. And what that means for the future of this planet and the future of our society is probably bad, actually. But I realized when I was 20 years old, I had no problem, getting crazy with my friends and wasting time and just going to class and just meandering through my life. And then when I was 25, I had no problem putting my 9 to 5 in and working really hard, and then drinking with my friends and just watching TV shows and whatever the things that keep you happy and make your life pleasant. But then when I now that I'm 31, which I feel like is it's been a weird paradigm shift in my life, where this is the first age where I'm like, fuck, I'm old, and I'm not trying to be like melodramatic. I am old. I mean, it's just I'm not very old. I'm not fucking 70 years old. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm old.
Like if if there was a high school kid here, they would be like, why am I at a fucking AARP meeting?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And now that I'm 31, I'm like, time is more precious, and what is my intention to make my life better?
Do you remember 30-year-olds when you were in high school?
Yes.
You know how fucking old they were? You were like, you're so old. Like, do you need something? Can I get you some juice, Grandpa?
You wanna sit down? You want
When I went to college,
So old.
when I went to college, my brother was a year and a half younger than I am now.
Fuck,
And I
that's
remember looking at, he was so cool. He's still cool in my mind. He's in his 40s now, and he's still the fucking coolest thing to me. But it's like, I just don't want to get to this point where we can reflect and still change things. Eventually, we have to come to terms with the fact that we are going to get to a point where we reflect and we can't change anything anymore. And I don't want to get to that point because you're locked in. You have a family or kids. You have a fucking, all these things. Like, the more you lose that agency, the more you're unable to shake things up. So shake them up while you can.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of where I'm at right now. You know, my mind. I'm like, I've been very deep in my mind lately with this kind of shit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about heaven or hell or death in forever. Live it. Just live it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were saying. We were kidding around, but the Bon Jovi line that you remember we were.
It's my life. It's now.
And he says,
or
yeah, what does he say?
I ain't gonna live forever.
And then it's like, I just want to live while I'm alive. That's the line, I think. And I remember you turning around and like, you're like, but for real, that's a deep line. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It is a deep line. So let's live by it. Let's live by Bon Jovi.
Don't worry about your tsunamis. You'll be fine. Keep living your good
Oh,
life.
coastal California is going to be all fucked up.
Not while we're here. We're fine.
You ever think about that, by the way? Because I think about that sometimes. We've all had, just for real talk, because you guys have lived here forever and you felt bigger earthquakes than we have. But I felt my fair share of earthquakes in 8 years here. Some more violent than others, but nothing like out of control. Nothing like the Loma Prieta or whatever like that, or even, the 1906 one. But sometimes I sit in bed and I'm like, it could happen right now. Like, there's nothing we can do about it.
Sleep so well tonight with that
He says
thought
it
in
with
my
a
head.
smile. I love Colin so
Because
much.
Colin wants to sit back
can happen right now.
secretly and not so
It can be now.
secretly, wants to sit back and just watch the world burn. He just does. And then he wants to get his rifle and go hunt some commies. And that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, the fall of the Soviet Union was like the saddest thing that ever happened to me at 7 years old.
Jesus.
So fucked up.
Ladies and gentlemen, that topic was brought to you by Loot Crate. Would you classify yourself as a geek, gamer, or pop culture nerd? Then Loot Crate is a subscription box for you. Loot Crate is a subscription box service with more than $40 worth of geek, gamer, and pop culture gear, collectibles, apparel, comics, etc. delivered to your mailbox every month. Make sure you head to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the code kindafunny to save $3 on any new subscription. This month, they're bringing you a fight for the ages. Suit up, choose your allies, and enter the arena for combat. They're ready to stand their ground this month with exclusive items from Blizzard, Fallout 4, Capcom, sponsor-worthy loot from the Hunger Games, as well as a few more items that will help their winners emerge victorious. You're a winner. You already emerged victorious. But I'm not insulting the copy. Whether you're risking your life in battle or taking no prisoners in the wasteland, our loot will be at your side to help keep things interesting. Basically, Loot Crate is like a friend that knows you and loves you and surprises you with an awesome present every month. Did we mention they shipped over 13 countries too? You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, Jack, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today. Thank you, Loot Crate. And of course, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening and or watching this episode of the Game Over Greggy Show. If you didn't know, each and every week, the Game Over Greggy Show is 4, sometimes 5 best friends around this table, each bringing a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to kindafunny.com where you can get to all the YouTube channels and subscribe. You can support us on Patreon where you get episodes early. You can go to youtube.com/kindafunny where we post every episode day by day, topic by topic, until we post the entire things for free as a video and MP3. What's wrong?
Well, 1, Kevin's trying to kick Patel in the face, and 2, Colin said, and I quote, "The fall of the former Soviet Union was the worst day of my life."
7-year-old. Worst thing to happen is a 7-year-old. Yeah. But the tsunami hasn't happened yet because we're all good people and we live good lives. Heaven on earth.
It's true, though. In the
Heaven on earth.
80s,
Think about it.
we had the villain. We had the enemy, and now...
And we let it go. We beat him up too
That's
bad.
why we use these
We killed
Nazis all
what
the
we
time
got.
now and everything we do.
Well,
Tired out of us Nazis. Until next time, it's been our pleasure, sir.